Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Live on Neeves Knives. Just so you guys know, the PT is available right now in Magna Cut 63 to 64 HRC. I got mine from the show. I did not know that they were going to be available. So I do have it linked down in the description for you guys because they're like almost never available. I've been trying to get mine for a long time, so that's why I took advantage of it at the show. But right now, they got it in a bunch of different colors. I think that this is possibly the snappiest automatic for the size. Listen to this thing. I mean, this thing hammers. Like, it's got recoil. If I just hold it 2 fingers, thing wants to jump out of your hand. I love it. I like that hard smack. Now, I do know that there is a level of which it can. I haven't seen it done on these, but I've seen it from other companies where it smacks and then hits so hard it doesn't give the plunge time to inject and it pops back. But this one locks up rock solid, super duper solid. Got to give it credit. And man, 63 to 64 HRC is exactly where we want to see the HRC. I did do a cut test on Magna Cut at 63 to 64 HRC. It did phenomenal, far better than it did at 61 to 62. So the companies are running at 61 to 62, you know, which actually we're about to check out a knife that's doing that right now. And I did not plan that. I wasn't trying to talk shit or anything. But I love the knife though. The new Giant Mouse Rio. I think that's what it's called, the Rio. Yeah, Rio. This one's in denim micarta. What a good knife, man. Giant Mouse they're doing a killer job right now. And I'll tell you what, I'm getting one of those new Biblios because I always loved the look of the Biblio. I love the aesthetics and just like what kind of knife it was, what it had the potential to be, but it wasn't big enough for me. And then mine had a bunch of issues. And then I know they improved them after, you know, mine. So, and I did get to try a bunch after that. And I did like them, but they just were a little bit too small. The new version is coming, perfect size. Anyways, this Rio though, nice, sleek, slim, badass blade. Yes, it's 61 to 62. I think it's 62 HRC. You know, I wish it was 63 to 64, but I'll live. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. What am I going to lose? 150 feet of edge retention or something like that? 150 feet, something like that. So, which I know sounds significant, but when you're talking about already like between like 600 and 750 or like 650 and like 800, you know, it's still going to cut a lot, you know? So, most people wouldn't even notice the difference. You might notice a little bit of difference in sharpening, but I don't think so. I don't think I noticed much difference in sharpening aside from the way it removes the burr until it gets softer, like 60 and under. Then you really notice it. Because I got to sharpen up some stuff that was like 59 to 60, and you could tell the difference. Like it was just a massive difference in the way it's sharpened. But between like 62 and 63 and 64, you know, the burr just pops off a little bit easier. Or a lot easier, I should say. Not that the 62 is difficult to remove. But anyways, awesome knife. So now that competes with my Jutland. I brought this to the show. Love this knife, man. Highly recommend it. Such a good knife. And I see Crispy Donuts is in the comments. Shout out to them. Bang, right there. Go and check them out. I did link them in today's video earlier today, where I was showing off some of the knives I got from Blade Show that I brought back with me. There's going to be a part 2, possibly a part 3 to that, at least a part 2. So that was just some of the knives. We're actually going to talk about a couple of them. One I did not show in that video that we actually brought home was this new T-Kel knife, this little Warncliffe. Thing is dope. The one thing is that you know, it could be such a good little EDC, but it is thick. Like, look at this. Just by the edge. Like, look at that. Look at how thick that is. That's the edge right there. This boy is thick. So, I wish it was quite a bit thinner. Even for self-defense, because granted, this isn't going to break on you. You could jam it into something, you could pry with it. This could definitely be like a pry bar cutting tool. But I feel like if I was in that type of situation, I want it to cut as nasty and as capable as possible. And I just don't see this thing cutting that good. Now, some of the other knives I got from TKL are really thick like that, but I think the angle is just lower on the edge. This one's got, it's got like a secondary grind and then the edge bevel. You can see that? See how it's got the secondary grind right here and then the edge bevel? They should have just did the whole grind in the edge bevel. That would make this a lot sharper. And I can do that myself, so it's not that big of a deal. But I'd love to see him do some stuff with like 100,000 thick blade stock thickness. That'd be so awesome. Dukes of Hazzard with the 2 bones. Thank you. What up, Dickens? And then we got Crispy Donut Community coming in with the 10 bones. Thank you, brother. 10% discount code. Stay wide until midnight. Just for your viewers, we dropped the Blade Show inventory today. You guys hear that? You guys can go and get 10% discount code site-wide. I don't know. Is there a code or something? Or is it just open right now until the end of the night, until midnight? Definitely go and check that out. I know in the comments of the video I posted, there was a lot of feedback on the crispy donut community knives. I was surprised. Like there was a lot of feedback on them. So I think a lot of you guys were going and getting them. I know there's a couple people that are also in the Chicago area. Neeves 10. There you go. There's the discount code. Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Shout out to them, man. That's awesome, man. We love when we can see stuff like that. Chicago. Yep. Yeah, that's for the Chicago. Whose tattoo? So that's the guy we met at Blade Show. It's not my tattoo. We met him at Blade Show near the Jack Wolf booth. He also was the guy wearing the shoes with the knives on the shoes. If you guys watched our videos from Blade Show, you'll see them in the B-roll. And yeah, he had a tattoo, a real tattoo right there of the Demco, which was awesome. I loved it. I want to get a tattoo, not that tattoo, but like something similar. I want to get realism, some multiple different knives, not just one knife, but like a bunch of different USA made knives of some sort. I'm not sure what yet, but the problem I have, and this is what slows me down from doing that, is that I feel like I'll do it. And then whatever company I tattoo on my arm, I'm going to get into beef with. And then they're just going to absolutely like despise me and hate me. And then I'm going to sit here and walk around with a tattoo forever of some company that just fucking hates me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just get like knives that are similar. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because I don't even know if I can tattoo an exact design without their permission. I'm not even sure if that's legal. What do you think I should get? Kaiser Genie or Kaiser in Yang? The Yin Yang's big. I don't know, but I will say, Alex and everybody else, Stasa 23 just posted a video. I didn't even know this. There is a ton. What? There's a ton of great deals on Amazon for Kaisers. Go watch Stasa 23's video. He posted some in the comments, or sorry, not in the comments, in the description of his video. And I'm talking about like 3V steel for like 40, 50 bucks. Like they have like a bunch of great, phenomenal deals. Like you wouldn't even expect them. But yeah, I do not know whose Demco tattoo that is. I don't know. I mean, I met him. I forget his name, but I did get to meet him though. No Leon Ma tattoo. Exactly. Point proven. All right. Point proven. What you peeps think? Mod new scale on a Manix 2 and 15V also says 010V on Blaze Spider Coat Club. I'm gonna get some new scales from my Yojimbo, probably from Original Goat. I think they only have one set left right now until they come back in stock. Bust out that Yojimbo, dude. I got it actually. Oh no, I got it right over here. The Yojumb and the Yojim. Here's the Yojumb. And there's the Yojim. Huge difference in size, but yeah, this is the most recommended size. This is my favorite size too. I love the Yojimbo. Don't get me wrong. I love this. And for like self-defense, this would obviously be the better choice. But as far as like for just basic EDC, getting around town and stuff, this one's going to be a little bit more acceptable for size. And, just detailing work and stuff, that blade, it's the perfect size for you to get maximum amount of leverage into that tip for cuts. Super thin hollow grind. And with the scales from original goat, they have like a slight contouredness to them. So I'm expecting it to be even more comfortable. Thank you, Kyle. Yes, there's a link to say 15% off if you guys want to get any original goat scales. They do have a bunch of scales in stock right now. As far as the Yojimbo goes, they only have one set, I think, available. I'm not sure if they pulled them for me or not, so that I can purchase them. I think it's the M2 scales or something. Tattoo of a man. Like, so if I did do it, like, I'd want like a little collaboration. Like I felt like, I'm never gonna like really probably have beef with like Chris Reeves. Even if I said something negative, I think he would take it pretty good, or Tim Reeves. So maybe one of those. And then some other ones, maybe even like a Spyderco or something. But I'd love to just get like a bunch of like just badass knives. Like in like a I don't know, just like a little collage of badass knives, but make sure you can see them all very clearly. Like I don't want them all, kerfuffled. We've shipped worldwide with 0 issues. Very cool. Very cool. That's always good to hear. Sup, Jared? Just dropped by to say hello. Stay sharp. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. There's a ton of Kaisers at ridiculous discounts on Amazon right now. Stasa didn't even cover them all. Exactly. And I didn't want to rain on his parade by putting the link in the description myself. So that's why I'm just saying go and check out his video. And you guys can use his link. When I talked to them, they said they had one set. Maybe they just had it at the shop and they didn't have it on the site. So I talked to them and they told me they had it. They might have pulled it for me. So, but I did talk to them and I asked them when they should be expecting more, and they said that they're always expecting more Spyderco stuff. So as soon as they do, they're going to let me know. Because obviously, if I get some, I want to make sure I can link it for you guys. I can't stand not linking things. And it's not even just because I get a kickback. Obviously, that's a little bit about it. But also, like when I show something off, I hate like sitting there, like making it seem like, like so cool and then being like, nope, but you can't get it. I'd rather be able to just link it for you guys so you guys can get it. If you guys want it, if you guys don't, obviously you don't have to get it, but for those that want it. And then, yeah, it does help us out if you guys use the links. Custom EDC knives with the 2 bones. Hey everyone, how's it going? What's up, brother? Thank you for the 2 bones. And yeah, and for the most part, 99% of all the links I put in the description are affiliates. There are times where like I'll put something that's not an affiliate because the company sent me the knife or something like that, but usually it is. Dukes of Hazzard with another 2 bones. Yojimbo link, not the scales. You want a Yojimbo link? I actually put one in the video earlier. Look at the video with the edgy blade works in the thumbnail. I'll just pull it out right now. Go in that description and you'll see it. I have the Spyderco Yojimbo from GP Knives in there. Same company that has the PROTECH right now. PROTECH PT in Magna Cut at 63 to 64 HRC. This knife is badass. Oh, it's so cool. From Edgy Blade Works. I seen Screaming Pirate got 2 of them. And he's got one in a beautiful denim micarta. I think it was the same model. Then he got, sorry. That was a different model. Then he got another one in this model with cross-cut carbon fiber. It looks so good. It looks so good. I love cross-cut carbon fiber. And I don't know why. Like, all these companies are doing fat carbon fiber and this and that carbon fiber and these gold leaf carbon fibers. Why aren't none of them doing cross-cut? Like, I've been screaming about cross-cut and still haven't gotten none. Aside from like on customs and stuff, which I don't, have any, but that's the only place I see them on. And then sometimes you'll see like say the back spacer of like, say, um, an integral back spacer, will have it. But aside from that, like you never see just raw scales, just scales on the side of a knife that are cross cut. That would be so badass. People would be jumping from the rooftops for that. I know I would. Hello all. Watched the video earlier with the mayhem. Looking to hear more about it. Yeah, I'm gonna give you some more feedback. I'm gonna test it out, see how it does. I really want to test this piercing tip, see how that does, see how it sharpens up, see how the heat treat feels, things like that. And then I will definitely give you some more feedback. Hey Dennis, thank you for the 5 bones and happy birthday to your pup. Donate and let's collect money to get Kyle Coonley a new pull-through sharpener. You know what's funny as hell? That you said that. Do something kind for somebody. Yes, definitely. Work Sharp sent me a pull-through sharpener. I didn't know they were sending it, which is fine, but I don't know if they didn't know that I hate pull-throughs and I talk a lot of shit about them. But I will say they sent me 2. They sent me one that I would absolutely never recommend and always recommend against unless you're an old person and there's no way you're going to sharpen a knife on anything else and it's just the easiest way. In those cases, I get it. Like, understandable, right? But as far as you're capable, you can sharpen, on a better system, then I would recommend that. But they also sent me a pull-through belt-fed sharpener, which is completely different, right? The reason why I recommend against normal pull-through sharpeners is for this reason, right? So when you think of an edge, right? When you think of an edge bevel, think of a microscopic saw blade. I mean, just envision micro serrations, either serrations or a saw blade, right? That's your edge, right? On a microscopic level. When you go do a pull through, you're tearing all your teeth off of your saw blade. You're tearing them all off. And you're making scratches go the opposite way you want scratches to go. You want the scratches to go up and down to create the micro serrations, right? To create teeth. Well, with the belt pull through, the belt is going up and down. So it's making the teeth as you pull it through. So it makes sense. And that would be cool. I mean, I normally wouldn't recommend, belt sharpened edges as far as, for like high performance knives or anything. But as far as like kitchen knives and things like that, and like knives where people just don't really give a shit, like it's not their, pride and joy. They just, they're just needing a sharp edge. I understand. Like, and I don't, I don't ever talk against that stuff. Like the people that just need to get an edge sharp, they can give a fuck less about like it being incredibly sharp or anything else. They just want a sharp edge. I get it. But, I do think that a lot of people, if they understood how much better it would hold up, how much sharper it would be, and then all the details behind having a quality edge, they would want the quality edge over the fast edge, because that's what that is, right? It's just a fast edge. It does it fast and easy. And shout out to Transparent Knives in the house. Got to meet him at Blade Show. Awesome, dude. I wish I could have hung out with them more. We got to hang out only for a few minutes, but maybe next year or maybe next Blade Show. I don't know if I'll be making it to like Blade Show West or anything. I've honestly never even been that far out west, but we'll see. When the goal is with enough force, can I shove this through a box? Use a pull through. Exactly. There you go. Ah, man, you guys have no idea how I got to make a full video on this. I got probably the most hate I've ever gotten. I don't know about hate, but the most conflict I've ever gotten on any subject related to sharpening than my not my pull through, my metal rod versus ceramic rod honing rod video. So I did a short 60 seconds. It's 60 seconds long. And I talked about how get rid of your metal rods and get a ceramic one. A ceramic one is the way you want to go. And I didn't even get a chance to explain why in the video, but so many people like this one guy came in and said, I'm a butcher and I disagree. I said, you're a butcher? I said, I'm a knife sharpener. So I'm right, you're wrong. No, I didn't say it like that, but you know, it's like what you know about butchering, I know about sharpening, and I'm telling you, just because you do it that way doesn't mean it's the best way. And I just don't think they understand, or like everybody kept like trying to use the words like it's for honing, not sharpening. It's like, look at the channel for 5 minutes before you start arguing. Just like take a look around just a little bit. It's like, it's almost like they think I just like thought of this and just sat down and did a video as if like I haven't been sharpening for years and tested it and all this bullshit. But so I'm going to make a long form video on it, explaining in great detail why a honing metal rod is not good for your edge compared to a ceramic, right? It's pretty simple. I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't going to take your $1,000 knife and scrape it against a metal rod, right? And it's like, and I understand like that the metal rod is for straightening an edge. I get it. It's not really for much else, but that's the point. The only thing it's slightly good at, which is straightening an edge, ceramic does better. Now, but in the result, or the results you get from doing that, is that it tears off the microscopic teeth we were just talking about a second ago. A metal rod tears those off. How could it not? Right? How could it not? Because it's not an abrasive. It's a metal rod. And then in many cases, they're not even as hard as the steels you're putting it on. Maybe some are, especially if like, and I understand maybe it's like a super cheap Dollar General throwaway knife you can give a fuck less about. Maybe go ahead, you know. But for any steels that you actually care about, or any knives you actually care about, you know, in the kitchen and stuff, or anywhere else, like I would use this on my $1,000 knife, right? I would use this on a $500 knife. So therefore, I would use it on a $10 knife or a $20 knife or a $50 knife. So I wouldn't do the opposite with the metal rod, for many reasons. But the ceramic, though, when you do it, adds microscopic teeth because it isn't abrasive, and it doesn't remove much. Like it's almost like people think like that this thing just like hogs off metal or something, which it doesn't. You got to think. So one of these, they're labeled, and remember, what's labeled and the truth is different. They're labeled about 1,200 grit. In reality, they're 3,500 to 5,000 grit for the ultra fine ceramic rods. Because if it was a diamond rod or a diamond plate, then that's what it would be. It'd be like 5,000 grit. So remember, this will mirror polish an edge if you come off of like 1,200 grit, 1,500 grit or something. Jerry Pitcock, thank you for the 2 bones. I appreciate it, man. We definitely appreciate all the donations. Oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow we do have a members live sharpening. So that's tomorrow, Sunday, Bang Gang Live, knife sharpening, tomorrow, 12:15 Central Time. So anybody who's not a member, if you want to join us for a live sharpening, make sure you hit the link down in the description and become a member. If not, for the members that are already joined, I will see you tomorrow. Jared, tell them honing is technically sharpening and all edges are serrated. Really fuck his brain up. But it's like, it's so many people. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know how many comments I got. I got thousands of comments, probably. For hundreds of years, honing with sharpening steel was the only way. There are better materials there. Right. And that's kind of what I tried to say. Like, because that was like some of their arguments. Like, oh, it's worked for, you know, millennia, or it's worked for hundreds of years. So like, just because I had a phone on the wall when I was a kid, does that mean I should still be, you know, carrying around a phone like that? Like, no, now we have smartphones, right? Like, it's so stupid to think that we don't have better abrasives now in 2023. Our steels have gotten better. Our heat treat's gotten better. Our knowledge about metallurgy and steels has gotten better. Of course, the abrasives have gotten better. So, and it's like, I understand in a third world country, right? Let's say you're in a third world country and you're flaying fish all day, right? So I get it then, right? You might not have the access to a ceramic, or you might not just have the extra couple dollars, even though it's not much more money. But let's just say, that money matters so much to you that you can't get it. I get it then. Use the metal one, right? You're not doing much but straightening out your edge. It's not making it very much sharper. Like, yeah, it's probably helping it a little bit, but it's going to go dull right away again. That's why they got to fucking do it every 5 minutes when they could just do a few swipes on a ceramic, add some microscopic teeth. And if you do it with no pressure, if you do it, see, this is the thing. This is another thing people don't know about it. And I should just save all this stuff for the full video, but there's multiple different ways to use this, right? If I just want to straighten an edge, I'm using zero pressure. It's just like if I want to knock off a burr, same concept, right? No pressure. And I tell you guys this all the time in the members live sharpening. When you're going to use this or any stone for removing a burr, no pressure, very, very light pressure, even maybe lighter pressure than the knife, the weight of the knife. Now, if I want a micro bevel, I'm going to add a little bit of pressure, right? If I want to hit the entire bevel, then I'm going to add a little bit more pressure, especially if I'm going to polish the edge or something, right? So there's different ways to use it so you can get different results. What's up, Luck? Please do this. Please do what? Okay. Hey, the guy at the carving station at Golden Corral uses the metal rod too. A lot of people do. That's the thing. A lot of people do, but they just don't know any better. That same person, this is my point, right? Here's my point. If you walked up to that very, very same person that's using one, and you said, hey, what steel is that on your knife? And what HRC is it? Could they answer? Most likely not. Most likely they ain't got a fucking clue. They're going to say stainless or some shit. Some of them might know, some of them will know. And in that case, they might have a little bit more knowledge, but very, very few butchers or chefs actually have a great understanding of sharpening or steels in general, especially sharpening. Like, put it this way, here's a good example. Even knife makers, I would say only about 10% of knife makers do really good edges. From my experience, when I walk around and I see custom knives and knives in general being made, very few of them have good quality edges. Most of them are belt edges that are of medium to low quality, right? Which doesn't matter because you can just replace that. It's not that big of a, it's not that it's a big deal. The point is, though, is that even knife makers in many cases don't know how to sharpen good, right? It's different. There's a different thought process behind it, and understanding how an edge is on a microscopic level is a little bit more difficult than just thinking you know how to sharpen or just putting the knife to the stone. And I'm not talking shit to anybody who doesn't know. Please don't ever take it that way. I'm just trying to help. Like, when I make videos, like, it's crazy because I'll have people coming in. I had multiple people coming in saying that I was trying to sell ceramic rods. And it's like, joke's on you, pal. I don't sell ceramic rods. Like, making it seem like I made ceramic rods, or like I was like an infomercial or something. It's like, yeah, they're linked down there, but they're not being sold by me. In the video, please explain when to hone versus when to strop and the difference. I will, James. I definitely will. And just to give you a little breakdown really quick between that. So your first line of defense should always be a strop. So, like, say if you've been, and it depends on what type of knife we're talking about, like from a kitchen, butcher knife, or an EDC knife, or a hunting knife, whatever. But for the most part, we know what dull goes, right? Before it's dull, right? This is the major point. Before it's dull, right? So when it's on its way to dull, that's when you want to use the strop. When it's still relatively sharp, because then what that does is your apex isn't completely broken down. It isn't rolled. You don't have damage yet. So what you can do is you can take your strap that has an abrasive over the surface and add, like we were talking about earlier, some more microscopic chips at the apex, making a saw blade, right? That's what this will do. So this is an abrasive. This is diamonds on here, right? So when you drag your edge across it in the correct way, it's gently adding little tiny serrations at the apex. Now, let's say that's not working, right? When that's not working and it's not doing basically nothing to your edge, that's when you pull out the rod. Then you can hit it with the rod. Now, say if you've been chopping, right? Like say if you're a butcher, you've been chopping and you hit some bone and your edge is kind of twisted or rolled a little bit, ceramic rod. Then strap, right? You do one, then the other. But yeah, it's basically like first line of defense, second line of defense, and then when this stops working and it will not work, you have to resharpen. You just have to resharpen. And you know what also is a huge thing is that most people just don't even know what sharp is. They really don't. And like I said, I'm not talking shit, but it's like even the guys that are butchering and I'm not talking shit about butchers. Like I'm just using them as an example. This could be anybody, a chef, me, it can be anybody, right? When you grab their knife, like that they're using, that they're cutting stuff with, you're not gonna grab it and say, "Ooh, that's a high level sharpness." Like that edge is sharp, boy. You're not gonna do that. Most likely, it's probably not even gonna shave paper cleanly. And if they put it on the stone and sharpened it, some would be able to get it really sharp because they've practiced long term, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them do not. A lot of them will tell you if you ask them when was the last time you sharpened your knife, they'll say a year ago. They've been hitting on the fucking metal rod. And it's like, which to me, that's just crazy. Just because you can smash your knife through stuff doesn't mean it's cutting efficiently. But depending on the type of cutting you're doing, that also plays a part because obviously there's going to be certain types of cutting where, whatever works, right? Like you're just trying to get the job done. Granted, a sharper knife might get it done a little bit faster, but as long as you're getting the job done. Now say it 5 times fast. I don't know what we're talking about. I'll use a microscope to explain a edge on my laptop to get the point across. Yeah, so I have that, Robert, I have that little microscope that I can put edges under that's for that I show in videos from time to time. I'll probably use that to get the micro serrations part across. I use that if you watched, Robert, I'm sure you did, but I used that in the pull through knife sharpening video when I was trying to teach people why you don't want to use pull throughs and when it's appropriate to actually use them. Chris with the 2 bones, Jones. Chris 2 bones Jones. I love it. Ha! Now say 5 times fast. Channel strike again. Thank you, Chris 2 bones Jones with the 2 bones. I appreciate it, man. Interesting, but my Hinderer slicer came sort of dull. Yeah, my Hinderer Project X came very dull. From the factory, tried stropping, but didn't seem to help as much. Resharpen them. Yeah, no, you know why though? Lewis, it's because of the edge angle. Like even mine, I bet you if I measured it, I bet you it's 30 degrees per side. And I'm not exaggerating because the bevel's so tiny, and we all know Hinderer's knives aren't thin behind the edge. So if it was like a 20-degree edge bevel, it would show. It's got to be like 30, 35 degrees per side. So of course, that's not going to feel very sharp. And of course, that's going to go dull faster. It's more blunt, right? The blunter the edge is, the faster it's going to go dull. The steeper the edge is, the longer it'll take before it goes dull, but also the easier it can chip. So it just depends on your purpose, right? You obviously want that happy balance between toughness and sharpness. And the reason why a knife that's what? I gotta get it in 1 second. The reason why thinner apexes or lower angles last longer is because they're thinner behind the apex, right? This is blunt, So when the tip of this wears off, it's going to be thick right behind there, so it'll be dull instantly. When this chips off the tip of it, the apex, it's still sharp.
Wait.
I'm going to it right now.
No, hold on. Before that, you have 5 gifted memberships from James K.
Beef Stick with the 2 bones. Thank you, Beef Stick. My original super chat wasn't good enough to read. What? I don't think I've seen it. I'm sorry, man. Beef Stick.
I don't see it either.
My wife doesn't see it either.
But that doesn't mean shit because I just started watching.
Nope, I do see it. Holy cow, Beef Stick. I'm sorry, man. You should review Great Eastern Cutlery. I would. I don't have any. But yeah, I would. I definitely would. I would. I like GECs. I have nothing against them, and I honestly I like them. I don't have any, and it's been a while since I've tried any, to be honest.
You have 2 members.
I'm getting.
Don't,
whoa!
No, damn it! These were way before. Hold on, I'm trying to read these. James K. Hold on. James K. gifted 5 memberships.
James K. Thank you, brother.
And then Jeremiah Moses, thank you for the 9 months. He said, "Yo, what's up, brother? Thank you for being so awesome."
Thank you, man. Thank you for being a member. And Brad Lennox with the 50 bones. 130 people in here and only 9 likes. Don't forget to smash that damn like button. What brand ceramic rods do you recommend? I'm guessing he needs to just update this thing. But thank you, man. Thank you so much. 50 bones. Holy cow, man. Holy shit. Thank you. And thank you to all the new members, or shout out to all the new members. Tomorrow we do have a members live sharpening at 12:15 Central Time, 12:15 p.m. Central Time. So this is what I'll say. This one's a little bit more expensive, but I do recommend it because it has the angle guides already built into it. However, you can get a plain ceramic rod and get your own angle guides, or just no angle guides and wing it, right? So it depends on, but I'll tell you what, these angle guides do help you if you're not used to holding an angle. I even use them and I'm used to holding an angle. But you could get just the ceramic rod and get your own angle guides. You'll save like $5. And you also have different angles. So, and if you don't get the angle guides and you just get the ceramic rod, it'd be about $20. This one's about 30. So, take it how you want, but I link them in my NEEVESKNIVES store. There's always ceramic rods linked in there. Will you double check that for me?
That there's ceramic rods linked in the Amazon store?
Yeah.
I can double check.
And double check and make sure this workshop one's in.
Double check if you read Chris's next.
I'm gonna, but you make sure I'm pointing at you with the ceramic rod. Like make sure this one's in there, the workshop one, because that's a really good one.
Scroll.
But yeah, just make sure it's ceramic, make sure it's round. 1200 grit is usually.
I know I'm gonna have to tell you.
Chris 2 Bones Jones with some more 2 bones, an alternative channel, just to do.
I thought for sure you were gonna say Atlanta, like 100%. I thought you were gonna.
Why? It doesn't say ATL. It says
I know,
ALT.
but I thought for sure that's what you're gonna do.
An alternative channel just to do this. Laugh my ass off. Cheap thrills. Cheap thrills.
It's so funny that he made a whole extra channel called Chris 2 Bones.
I think it's hilarious. I love it. I love it.
You need to just throw away the other channel and just keep this one.
Oh, guys, I gotta show you guys something. GEC pocket carver with the 3 Warncliffe blades are so good for wood carving. Tudor, check this out. I got something coming. I'm gonna show you guys right now, because it kind of, is in the same field. I got a sheath being made for me, and actually it should be being mailed already by Michael Richter. Here's one of them right here. Look at that. Oh, look at that. And he looks like he does amazing work. It's on the way.
I saw it today on Instagram.
So I spoke to him. He made me a couple. I am so happy about this because I've been wanting a really, really good slip for like a long time. This will match kind of my my Tale of Knives EDC organizer, because I have the brown with the blue stitches. So this one is a little bit lighter stitches than my other one, but it'll darken up over time. But I think that thing is just gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that leather. Now check this out. Show you guys the other one. Okay, so I believe this is the other one right here. I'm not 100%. I think this is it. But here, let's check out some more of his other work. He's got a coffin-shaped one right here. Really good quality leather, man. Look at this. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Isn't that beautiful? How the leather, like, has this like that I don't even know what it is. Milling or something. don't know what it is. It looks cool at texturing. Let's call it texturing. That looks slick. Oh, let me hit that like button.
Wow. This bitch is a
So,
genius.
shout out to Michael Richter. Definitely go and check him out. Amazing, amazing work. I can't wait to get it in hand and slip one of my slippies in there. This is a beautiful one too, man. That purple and blue. Oh, that pops. I like it. Yeah, man. I'm really liking this angled leather. Mine's the up and down, but that angled stuff's pretty dope too. I hit the like button. Damn it. See how I always hit the like button, guys? See that? I always hit the like button. Yeah, I like, man, that looks beautiful. It almost looks aged and, you know, I don't know, like super tough buffalo leather or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Is Kara gonna show up, or is this gonna tease us, or is she gonna tease us by folding laundry and telling Jared about super chats off camera? There she is. Lady Neves keeping Jared focused. I know, keeping me on focus. I'm a little unclear on honing. When you hone,
Yes, there is rods in the Amazon, to answer your question.
Is there this rod, is what I asked.
Oh, the one with the angles?
This exact one. Work Sharp. It's from Work Sharp.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
I've not seen that one before.
When you hone, do you hone at the angle of the edge bevel? Okay, so yes and no. So it depends. Depends on your purpose, right? So if you can hit
no, it is. I'm sorry, it is. It's under the edge and maintenance tools /
this is in the store along with other ones.
Right there.
So
can I draw one of those faces on my hand and do this the whole live?
No. So let me, as far as the angle goes, you can do the entire edge bevel if you're good at holding that angle. If you're good at identifying it and holding it and everything else, you can do that. But in some cases, people do a higher angle and just a little bit, not by much. And the reason why is because, so like I said, it depends on the purpose you're wanting, right? So if your purpose is to micro bevel, then you want a higher angle. And in that case, you're basically cutting in, like say, if this is your edge angle, you're cutting in a new bevel right at the tip of your apex, like that, across it, right? So now you have an angle like this on an angle that's already like this. So what it's going to do is it's basically giving you a fresh apex on an already low angle. So it's going to cut really good still, right? It's not going to feel blunt or anything. Yes, it will get duller quicker than if it didn't have it, but it's going to be tougher. So if edge microchipping or you know, whatever is your issue, that is what you're going to want to do. So it just depends on what your purpose is or what you're trying to do. Now, if you're just trying to finish your edge, like say if you're done sharpening and you're on your finishing stone, and your finishing stone is a ceramic, whether it's a ceramic rod or a ceramic plate, ceramic stone of some kind, then yes, you want to hit the entire edge bevel. So it just depends on your purpose. Now, say if you're honing, right? If you're honing, then yes, if you're good at holding the edge angle, then yeah, hit the entire edge bevel. But if it's taking you a little bit more time, which it really shouldn't if you're holding it perfectly. So in that case, what you do is like, I'm just going to like say if this is my perfect edge angle, right, to hit, I might barely raise it up just a little bit, just to ensure it goes a little bit faster and it hits all the way to the apex immediately. Hopefully that explained it a little bit better. If you remember, I got double check. No, I'm checking.
You can't see it.
Oh, James K. Shout out to James K. Donating what? 5 more members. Damn, James, coming in hot. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We got, like I said, to all the new members, we got the Bang Gang Live tomorrow afternoon, 12:15 p.m. Central Time. Did anyone see the custom PROTECH TR3 with the gold coin embedded in at Blade Show? I did not see that. I did stop at the PROTECH booth and talk to the owner of PROTECH for about 5 minutes. He don't know who we are or anything. Not that we're anybody special, but I'm just saying, like, we don't know each other. And he sold me the PT, which was really cool, which is available right now. I'm going to keep telling you guys, the PT is available right now. You guys can get it in Magna Cut 63 to 64 HRC, which is exactly where you want to see it. The snappiest little auto on the market. Absolute banger. Chester Millionaire with the 5 bones. Want that new Hogue Deca with the Ultim scales, but getting the C10 ready for good guys is expensive. Talking about a truck, a C10. But yeah, the Hogue Deca though, man, I personally would just say get some original goat scales. Get the original goat scales. That way you can get titanium or aluminum. And man, oh man, does it change that knife. It makes that knife feel tough. The knees are special to us. Oh, James, don't make me blush. Don't make me blush. Just got an Orion Setos today. Pretty amazing. I want that micarta Civivi Vision when it comes out. It's good. It's real good. And it's tough to say, but it's better. It's better than the Wii version. And I like the Wii version. I actually have it right here. So, and I like the Wii version, but the CVV version is better. It just is. They, obviously the CVV came second. So anything that they needed to correct, they got to, right? Like say the thumb hole. The thumb hole felt a little weak with the detent. Well, with thumb studs, it doesn't, right? The back spring popped out. Well, now it doesn't. The back spring also was a little nubby. Now it's actually got a squared off with jimping, and it's easy to get to. The clip's on the right size, so it's not slippery no more. Yeah, that vision, the CV Vision is even better. They raised the lockup slightly for better access. Yeah, and it's a lot better access. Like I have the other one, so like I've gotten to try them both. It's a lot better access. Zirconium or the Timascus kit for the upcoming Vero Synapse? I'd go Timascus personally. If it was Mokatai, I'd go Mokatai. Jim, you are going to love it. How do you know if you're stropping too much? So one thing is there, and you can do that, Will. You can definitely strop too much. Overstropping is a huge thing. You don't want to overstrop. So how would you know if you're overstropping? Well, one indicator is that your edge is not getting sharper, it's getting duller. So, and most likely you're not. So when people say overstropping, usually what they're doing is they're raising their angle. So let's be clear about that. It's not necessarily that they're just doing it too much. It's that if their angle is supposed to be right here, right, they're doing it right here. And what's happening is when they do it at too high of an angle, they're knocking off, again, the micro serrations you want, leading to an edge that does not feel sharper than it did before you did it. It actually feels duller because you're rounding, you're taking your apex and you're rolling it. So, like I always say, if you're uncertain of your edge angle and you don't know if it's perfect, it's better to go lower than higher. Right? So what you can do is you can start with a super low angle. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to polish the back of your bevel. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. And that'll come out in future sharpenings. But start with a low angle, give it a couple test slaps. And then if you don't feel that it's really doing much, raise it up very slightly, right? But make sure you're paying attention. Look really closely at it so you can actually see what's happening. Get your eyes down there nice and close. And eventually you'll start feeling it. It takes a while, though, to really get the feel of it. So just because you might have been shopping for a year and you still don't have the feel of it, that's completely normal. Just continue doing it, and eventually you'll kind of get the feel of it, especially on your own edge angles, because your own edge angles you put. So if you're doing the same edge angle on everything, it starts feeling the same. Custom EDC knives with another 5 bones. Jared, what steel do you prefer? Crewware or Magna Cut? This would be in a folder. Crewware. Well, so no. If they're both heat treated to optimal ranges, I would say depends on the application, but I guess as far as a folder goes, Magna Cut would be the better steel. Magna Cut's going to be a better steel for a couple reasons. One, it's going to hold a better edge. Two, it's going to be about as tough, but it's going to be more corrosion resistant. Now, that's if it's 63 to 64 HRC. If it's not 63, at least 63 to 64 HRC, then I would go Crewware. And crew wear, to me, I personally love crew wear. And in some applications, I would prefer crew wear over Magnet Cut because of its fine edge holding ability. Magnet Cut has a decent fine edge holding ability. I don't want to take that away from it. It's decent. It's not bad at all. It's not on either end of the spectrum. And what I mean is like that it doesn't have like a super long working edge or a super long fine edge. It's basically just like a happy medium where it has a good long fine edge holding ability and a good long working edge holding ability, at least from my tests. But crew wear is different. Crew wear is a long fine edge holding ability, but once that fine edge is gone, the working edge goes away. Like it does not last long at all. So it actually is remarkably quick how fast it falls off. So as soon as your fine edge goes away, as soon as it stops shaving hair, it's very quickly going to stop shaving paper, but it'll shave hair for a long time. That's what I love about it. I love crew wear, man. Crew wear, and also because of the toughness and just, the way the steel is, damn it, does it take a sharp edge. Damn it. It takes a sharp edge, like an incredibly sharp edge. Yes, because the emulsions in the leather will wear away the ink. What was that about? Oh, ooh, crew wear. So Hogue's doing their Magna Cut better now. I just want to be clear. They are doing their Magna Cut better. They're doing it 63, 64 now. So that's awesome. But man, Spyderco does such a good job with crew wear that I fucking love it. But I will say for most people, I would recommend the Magna Cut. If I'm recommending it, I'm going to recommend the Magna Cut. For me personally, I'm going to pick the crew wear. Why? Well, because the Magna Cut's going to be more corrosion resistant. So with crew wear, it tends to, unless if you like that, if you like that patinaingness to the steel where like it kind of looks aged and stuff, then you might want the crew wear. Magna Cut can do that too a little bit if you wanted to, but for the most part, it's a very, very corrosion resistant steel. Seems like people are struggling to get the ideal heat treat and hardness on Magna Cut. So what happened is that so many companies are stubborn. That's one thing. They don't like to listen to the people that have already done the tests. And then and then later on, they wind up fucking always going, usually not all, going towards what people were saying already. So I understand, like, say, from Medford, I understand from his point of view. He said that like it was a new steel to them. It was very different. So they wanted it to warm up to it, before they put it up that high. I get that. Do your testing, do whatever you got to do. That's completely understandable. But to just confidently come out and say, this is the HRC we're running it at, this is what it is, and it's soft, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why not just run it at the better HRC that's going to make better edge retention? Kind of like Hinder, right? I like Hinder. I love Hinder. I don't want to sit here and drag Hinder because I do like their knives, but damn it. 59 to 60 HRC is just unacceptable. Unacceptable. Even like when we look at Microtech's M390, that shit is dog shit soft. It just is. And, so its edge retention is like poop. But its toughness is off the chains, which that's what the geometry's for, right? So it doesn't make sense they have to do that. Now, listen, I love them. I love Microtechs. I love Hinders, but, I just got to call it as I see it. And every Spyderco on the market will outcut any Hinder or any Microtech. Same steels. Chris 2 Bones Jones with the 5 bones. People know who you are, Jared. I want you to look in a mirror and say to yourself, my name is Jared Neve, and dag nabbit, people like me. Well, I hope so. I hope they do. Some of them, at least. Is Spyderco CTS XHP in the past 2 years, in the past year or two? How is it? It's good. It's really good. Some of the best actually. The best CTS XHP I've ever tried was from Spyderco. Hands down. Like not even close. they do such a good job. And yes, I would say in the past 2 years is maybe even 3 years. Yeah, probably 3 years. That's where it's really, really come out. Because I'm not positive, but I think like 5 or 6 years ago, they weren't doing like the best heat treats. But I think like around 3, 4 years ago, they really started honing in on that. And that's when they started massively upgrading their steels. I don't know if it was from feedback or what was going on, or they seen all the steel testings from all the channels and stuff. And they realized like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are testing steels now. They're getting serious. So then they had to get serious. Isn't Hindar 6061? Did you have it tested? No, I asked them when I was at the booth and I bought this. They told me 59 to 60. If it's 6061, maybe they raised it. But when I bought this, the guy at the thing said 59 to 60, and I instantly asked him. I said, "Why?" No, that's not what I said. Sorry, I don't want to quote myself wrong. I said, "Why is it so soft?" He said, "Well, it depends on who you ask." Then my response was, "Who? Who? Who can I ask that's going to recommend 59 to 60? I don't know who that person is. I can't fathom somebody, because even Larry Thomas doesn't recommend it for like folding knives. I can understand if it's like maybe a heavy duty chopper or something, right? Something that's meant to be a pry bar and a chopping tool, something like that. But for a pocket knife where edge retention matters, this is already tough. Remember, Magnet cut it 62, 63 is super tough, right? So, and the geometry is thick. So and that's what's going to be the biggest factor with toughness, is the geometry. So they already have thick geometry. There's no reason they need to make their steel super, super soft in order to lose the one thing that the knife is for, cutting, in order to increase its potential to pry, right? I don't even know if they recommend prying with it. But it just, and I understand, like, listen, I understand like them not wanting to deal with broken blades and chipped blades from people hard using their knives. I'm not saying they have to run at 63 to 64, but damn it, don't let some overseas companies come in and just steamroll you. It's doing it at 62, making you look bad. Right, that's not even the optimal range either. But I'd feel so much better if it was 62, even though I prefer 63, 64. But in some cases, I do understand that toughness is a little bit more important, or not more important, sorry, is equally as important. So, and like I said, that's where geometry comes in play. Who let the dogs out? It's an old school way, but it's tried and true. What is that? Yeah, it said it was 5160. Never heard of it, but it's differentially hardened or something. What are you guys talking about? You should be doing what manufacturer says. I believe that 63, 64 rock wall hardness. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what they should do, but they don't. And it's crazy to me that they don't, because the tests have proven it. So it's not like it's even just a theory at this point, like there's been enough edge retention tests out there, and not even just like it's not even like just me. Like you've seen it from Cedric Canada, you've seen it from Outpost 76, and we've also seen it on softer ends too. I've seen the test kit on Amazon. But what's the best way to test the HRC on various knives? Do you send them somewhere? So I personally would just send them somewhere. But they do have kits that you can buy on Amazon that like scratches the metal, and if it scratches, then it's that HRC or whatever, or then the thing's harder than that steel, right? And then when you get to the point to where it's not really scratching it, then it's about that HRC. They're not that reliable. So you could do it though, and you get an idea, but it's not going to give you an exact number. The exact number, you're going to have to send it out, and they punch it. They have like a little diamond tip thing that punches it, and it tells them how hard it is based on the pit. Brian from OCD for EDC, he's in here. I'm not sure if he's still in here right now, but he has an HRC tester, so he tests steels all the time. S30V will have superior edge retention when properly heat treated than M390 at 59 to 60 HRC. Yeah. That goes for most steels. I mean, like most steels that are almost equal, right? Like M390 and S30V are both really good steels. M390 in all regards should smoke S30V. But yeah, if M390 is soft, especially under 60, because that's when it like really goes downhill, is under 60. It's gonna, yeah, S30V is gonna outperform it if it has a superior heat treat in HRC. Now, if you bump that up a little bit to like 61, 62, the M390 is going to smoke S30V. But it's crazy. It's hard to fathom, but that 1 point, that 1 or 2 points, it makes a huge, huge difference. The higher it goes, the harder it gets, like, um, in a faster range, right? Like say 57 to 58 is harder, but it's not as much as say 60 to 61. Like there's a bigger jump there, the harder it gets. Hopefully that made sense. It might have sounded like an idiot just now. Hinder dropped flipperless XM18 today. No shit. Sold on 30 minutes. The Hinder is like the Jordan Retro of the knife world. Most frustrating knife. Yeah, you know what? I would love to link them, man. I would love to link them. I'd love to tell you guys they're in stock, but they are never in stock. Every time they're in stock, they're gone so fast. And here he is right here. This is Brian from Transparent Knives. He's the one that's got, he's got an HRC tester. These knives, do you think dealers like Rec and supposedly Blade HQ as well becoming US OEMs will be the next trend? What do you mean? Like that they're gonna, I don't know what you mean. Do you think dealers like REC and supposed Blade HQ as well becoming US OEMs will be, do you think they're gonna become some OE? I don't know. That's a good question. I would say that it's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea if they could fund it and they could support it. And what I'm thinking you mean is that, and maybe I'm wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, that they might start doing manufacturing in the USA for companies so that we can start getting some OEM work. They might start funding it and make a shop. I don't know. I'm all for it though. I mean, if that could happen. I mean, I'm all for any companies to grow and to succeed and be successful. I want everybody to succeed, as long as it's ethical and as long as they're doing their job right and everything. I applaud them, for growing and being successful, if that's what you meant. Jared, any updates on the adjustable stone holder for the Professional Precision Pro? Yeah, I have the video coming soon. We had to go to the Blade show, everything. We just got done. I had to do all this editing. As soon as over the next couple days, I got to do a bunch of posting, and then I'm going to film that video. I have them written down right here. I have like 5 or 6 videos written down right here that are a must do over the next 2 weeks. So that will be coming very, very, very soon. We may or may not have something in the works with Rec, but shh. 58 to 60. Actually, JD for EDC. I don't know. Excuse me. River's Edge Cutlery purchased a bunch of equipment. No shit. I did not know that. And we'll be doing OEM work in the US, already confirmed. I've heard rumors that Blade HQ is doing it as well. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that. But, I mean, what do you think? Do you like the idea or no? Do you feel like they should stay in their lane? Or, I mean, like my heart wants to say good for them, but maybe I'm not thinking about it and, in the wide scheme of things. But my heart wants to say good for them, and I hope they're able to do it. I hope they succeed. Is whatever we can do to bring more manufacturing back to the USA. I have no problem with the companies. They have to go overseas. I know it's a lot of them do go overseas for so long, and then eventually bring stuff back to the USA when they can accumulate enough money to do that, which I applaud. So, most companies seem like that's what they try to do when they can, which I love. But hey, I get it, man. Doing overseas manufacturing sometimes just the way you have to do it so you can get your foot in the door and start up a business. Or maybe even just to continue that way. I do appreciate certain companies hiring and having people in the USA working for them so that they a lot of the money's still going to a lot of the USA. because like there's a lot of companies I can mention right now that are overseas companies, but a massive portion of the money goes to the USA. 100%, like probably close to 50%, if not more. And in some cases, it's even more than 50%. It's like 58%. My personal opinion is there's huge potential and they already have distribution down being dealers. I'm excited for it. They just need to find the right people to help them get it off the ground. Absolutely. No, I mean, yeah. Then it sounds like we're on the same page. Yeah, I hope nothing but the best for them. I hope because I know some people have had problems with Blade HQ, and it is what it is. I don't know their stories really because most people don't really talk about it, but that it's happened. Personally, for me, I've never had problems with them. They've always been great to us. We do have an affiliate through them, so I link their stuff all the time. They're like one of our number one affiliates, and I appreciate that. So I greatly appreciate that, and I want nothing but the best for them, because I can think of many, many other companies out there that won't even talk to us. So. And that's upsetting. China-Taiwan conflict will have significant manufacturing and shipping implications. Sounds like some smart companies in the US are getting ahead of things. I hope so, Nick. I truly hope so. In Taiwan, yeah, I really hope, I know, what you said about the conflict and everything, but hopefully, things work out okay because, man, Taiwan, I would love to see more stuff coming from Taiwan. Taiwan does a really good job, and it's a great way to get, and they're almost as much as the USA. I want to be clear about that. Everybody who sees prices, and it'll be made in Taiwan, and it's like they're like, that's overpriced, as if it's coming from China. It's like, it's not the way it works. Their prices are damn near as much as the USA. They're very close to the USA prices. So don't expect it to be that much more, but it's going to be a little bit more affordable. And that's kind of the beauty of it. And they do damn good work. Speaking of them, Quiet Carry, man, Quiet Carry knocks it out of the park. I just got a new one today. We'll be showing off here pretty soon. Does anyone else use KPL corrosion inhibitor? Sorry, phone keyboard messes me up sometimes. I use all different types of stuff from KPL. I use the camellia oil. I use their KPLs. I use their knife shield. I got a lot of their stuff. We as knife buyers have a choice, and we always can continue to buy knives that are manufactured in China. And I think in the future that may change more and more coming back to the USA. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. And that's the thing. Like when the prices start not making sense, then it'll most likely a lot will come back. But the US has to step it up. Like you can't expect to charge more for lower quality. You at least want to get the same. All right. If it's going to cost more, we want equal quality. Right. You don't want to pay more for less. So, that's the part that they need to get down pat. I'm glad to see we have some knife makers and knife companies coming up that take pride in the steels, take pride in the geometry, take pride across the board, whether it's overseas or in the US. But some companies, man, they are stuck in their ways and they don't want to hear nothing. But when they sell out as fast as they do, can you argue with them? When people are lined up to buy dog shit soft. Can you blame them? Why would they? Why would they raise it? They're kind of dumb if they do, right? Really think about it from their point of view. Why waste more belts grinding less steel, right? Making less knives when they're going to fly off the shelves regardless, even if we fucking made it at 40 HRC. They can make it at 40 HRC, you fucks would still buy it. Sad. Come on, Jared. What mile quiet carry did you get? Love you guys. By the way, weekly ban from Reddit. My troll got me in trouble somehow. I'm going to start being more active on my Instagram. Miss everyone. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you I'm sure you are very kind, and it is not acceptable. I'm sorry to hear that, and hopefully you have fun on Instagram until you can get that back. It's national security for us to have manufacturing capacity there. I'm a dipshit. It's national security for us to have manufacturing capacity. What does that mean, dog one? What do you mean? It's national security for us to have manufacturing capacity. Do you just mean like for us to be number one manufacturing? Is that what you mean? Trust me, I don't know if that's what you meant or not. I could be completely reading that wrong, but I truly, truly want more manufacturing, as much manufacturing in the USA. I spend a lot of money on USA made products, a lot of money. Even like my shirts, all my t-shirts are USA made. My boots are USA made. I try to buy so much USA made. Same thing with knives. I buy a lot of USA made knives. Granted, I buy overseas knives too, and they do send them and I link them and I buy them. I have no problem buying them, especially if they're really good, But I also know a lot of those companies, are they have USA workers and they do a lot. Like I said, a lot of money goes USA, so it's not like it's just 100%, right? And there are companies that's the way it is, though. Know that there are some companies out there that when you send your fucking dollar over there, 100% of it's going over, or at least 90% of it's going over there. But then there's some companies where it's more like 40% or 60%. The EDC did a video humbling himself on the Benchmade Narrows. Now that he's a knife maker, he realizes how expensive it is to be big US based knife company and make knives here. Yeah, Joe, I don't know. So here's my thing. I seen a couple people check it out, and there was problems with some of the ones I seen. Like just for an example, Stasa just did a video on one, and he made sure to let you know multiple times in the video that this was the better one of the two, and it's still at a super light detent, like a super light detent. He said it was the one with the stronger detent, so the other one was even worse. And then I heard other people saying the same thing, like that theirs was really weak detent and stuff like that. If you're going to charge that much, listen, I don't mind the price as long as you know, as long as it's knocked out of the park, right? But there is the case or the argument that this is a big USA company. How is a small USA company making more affordable knives than a massive USA company? Now, some people would argue it's because they have employees that are making really good money because their employees make good money and have good insurance and all that stuff. And if that's the case, fucking awesome. Awesome. But do a damn good job on the knife. Do a damn good job, please. Like, I'm not saying the Narrows is for me or not. It doesn't matter. I haven't tried it. So I don't really even want to beat on it because I have not tried it. But I've seen people try it that I know and I believe them. So and I don't want to drag it, like, especially when I haven't tried it. But you hope that, like, or you want companies to kind of catch up. And it's kind of weird because for like 6 months, let's just say 6 months goes by, maybe a year, let's say a year goes by, and you will see a trend of people wanting better detents, right? And all these companies, every company, bam, 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 all doing bang up jobs on their detents. Nice stiff detents, snappy detents, rock it out with authority, solid detents. They don't fall out of the blade or anything like that. Then another company will come through and make the weakest detent ever, right? Now that knife is competing against all these other bang, 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 bang companies just knocking it out of the park while they're sitting there with this super light detent, right? In shitty action. I'm not saying the Narrows is than that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just knives in general. So don't take me wrong. So I think it's important for these companies to read the room, right? Read the room, because it's just like even with certain things, like even like choils, lock bar access, geometry, all the heat treat, right? All these little details, right? Some companies are knocking it out of the park, and other companies are, it's almost like they're being left behind, not left behind, but it's almost like they're not reading the room. Like, how do you not notice that this is what people want? Like, this is what the majority want. The majority want this. All right. So that's your job, is to provide that. not do the opposite so that everybody's now comparing it to the things that everybody likes, saying that this sucks. Even though it doesn't suck, it's just compared, right? Compared to the other ones that are so much better for less money. So I'm saying if you're going to charge a crazy amount, not crazy, if you're going to charge, let's say it's worth it, right? Let's say that that's just what the cost is. At least match the other company's enthusiasm with getting those little details correct. From a business perspective, it makes sense not to improve your product until you have to, right? From a having pride in your work as a maker perspective, it's a sin, and I get like, that's why I respect, you and then so many other makers out there that take pride in the little details, because they do matter. They matter the most. And while other companies are getting away with shit, right? They're getting away with it. People are lining up to buy it. That's only going to last so long. Remember that will only last so long. There's generations, right? And you're going to get to the next generation that's not going to put up with that shit, right? They're going to exceed their limit. These people are going to die off. No offense, you old fucks, but you're going to die off. And then the next generation's going to come, and I'll die off in the next generation. And it's going to come a time, and it won't be long, where certain things will be unacceptable, and then they will fall by the wayside, and they won't be able to use those as an argument no more. They'll have to make improvements. It's just we haven't seen it yet, because a lot of people are still alive that have been buying them for the past 20 years, and they're going to continue to buy them. Let them continue buying them. I would just, for me, man, it's just weird, because if it was me, like, I would 100% want to compete. Like, I would be, I'd want to kick myself in the nuts if I did a steal and some cheap overseas company, not saying overseas companies are cheap, but I'm saying a cheap overseas company outperformed my steal when I'm supposed to be a high-end USA company, and I'm getting fucking smoked and lapped by some no-name company from overseas. I'd be humiliated. Is there a difference between overseas China and overseas Japan, Europe, and elsewhere? What do you mean difference? The difference is the different countries. Obviously, you know that, Fiend. Also, I'm not sure what you mean. I do know that Japan, man, they do really good work just in general, of like everything they do. So that, like, they have a standard, I guess you could say, to uphold, that they take very seriously over there, which I respect, like a work ethic like no other. And I respect that massively. As far as like Taiwan, I just think, man, they do really good work too. And it's for a little bit more affordable in the USA, but not by much. But China, man, they just, obviously we know why they can get it so cheap. It's not a shocker, right? We know what's going on. Union labor killed the upstate New York knife makers. Schrade closed their doors and said, fuck it. But they're back. They're back. But again, that's another company. They're back, but they didn't read the room. They didn't read the room. Gotta read the room. Know what the audience wants. And man, so many companies. Not tomorrow. Next year, Buck could literally outshine everybody. Schrade could come in hot and literally just fucking demolish everybody if they just read the room and knew what the people wanted. I just don't feel like they do. I honestly don't think they do, because I don't see that they could put some of the products in their hands and say, oh yeah, this is what these customers want. These are going to sell real fast. Like, come on. So I think that there is some level of reading the room and understanding what the community wants. And I've said it 1,000 times. Like, I hate to, sound like this, because I feel like I sound arrogant, but I would 100% check out any company's knife that's a prototype, and not say nothing, just to give them feedback, just to let them know my perspective and what I think the community would want to see better on it. I've offered that as much as I can. I try to offer it to any company that I ever talk to. And if I haven't, if any company's in here, I'm offering it now. We need to make more stuff in the USA, but too many of us chase the deal that can be called short-term thinking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not even just that though. Well, it's also, it's not just the deal. Some of these companies are doing it better, you know, and it's not that they are better. It's that they're doing it better for the price, right? If you have $400, let's say you have $300. That's all you have to spend on a knife. And that's a lot of money for a knife. Let's not, just because we buy fucking retarded price knives, right? Don't be mistaken. $300 for a knife is a large amount of money for a knife for the majority of people, right? And if you have $300 and you're finally going to spend it, say you're a first responder or say you're who cares, some guy, and you're willing to throw up your $300, you're going to want the best materials and the best tolerances, fit and finish, action, everything you get in that knife, right? Now, for the same money, you can get from the USA and spend $600-700, or you can spend the $300 and go overseas, right? You know, some people just don't care that much about the USA pride, which I do take pride in it, but I understand. I get it because like I've been on the job site where I just needed a damn knife, right? And I had $60 and that's how much I was spending on a knife. And at the time that was a lot for a knife, but I was willing to spend a lot for a knife because I needed a knife and a good knife. So I would go and get, you know, a decent Kershaw or something. And to me at the time, that was a good knife. Ha ha ha. I know it's funny, right? But at the time, that's what it was. So I couldn't have seen spending more money for less quality. I would have been so upset. See you, Neves, Karen, I'm off to church. Shout out to you, Elias, and God bless. God bless. I'm gonna catch up. I think I'm backed up like a motherfucker. No, not too bad. Companies and other product markets pay for consultants to teach them about what and how to advertise and sell things. In the knife community, reviewers offer that info for free and they don't listen. That's so true. Exactly. Exactly. Like and that's what I said in that one video. Like, if these companies just would take advantage of what they have, they literally have the biggest opportunity in the world, right? The best opportunity for any companies right now. They literally have free advertising, free information, free feedback, free everything, and they just have to take advantage of it. And a lot of companies do, but then other ones don't, right? Some do, some don't. Well, the ones that are eventually are going to surpass the ones that don't. It's just the way it is, because the ones that do are always going to be ahead of the game in what do the people want? What are they liking right now? Right. And I know there's that thing like where it's like just fads or whatever, you know, it's just what's popular now. But there's also the evolution, right? It's not just what's popular now, it's what's popular now and what will continue to be popular. I don't imagine we're going to go backwards in action, right? I don't imagine we're going to start saying, I want to go back to two-hand opening my knife. Not saying that two-hand opening knives like slip joint stuff won't exist, but I'm saying that we're not going to go back to where we never have fast open deploying knives, right? We're not going to go backwards on that, right? We're not going to go backwards on steels and heat treats and things like that. Like, there's certain things that are just going to continue to evolve. But if you're not reading the room and you don't take advantage of the people that are willing to help, right? And that's what it is. It is help, right? I think that some companies think of it as that they should know, right? And they shouldn't have to reach out to other people. But that's not the way I look at it. Like, personally for me, right? Like I do editing, right? I do editing. And I do a lot of editing, and I'm starting to get really good at it with my new editing app, right? Remember, I was really good at my other one. I just recently got a new one, so I had to go backwards a little bit, but now I'm catching back up. And here over the next couple weeks, I'm going to start putting out them bangers again. So I'm back to putting out bangers here really soon. I got to record a few more videos that I have to just get out. And then I'm focusing on my good quality videos again. I got some heaters coming for you guys. Fucking heaters. But if there's somebody else that knows about, you know, editing and stuff, I'm going to listen. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna take advice. I'm not gonna try to be the end all be all. Like, like, I can't fathom not wanting to surround yourself with people, even if you're the knife company and the knife maker and the knife everything, right? Like, you make the knives, whatever. You've been doing it for 20 years. Why wouldn't you still want to surround yourself with the new market, right? Or the people that are coming, that are maybe a younger generation, or maybe it is an older, the same age generation, but they just, they're into something different, so that you can learn and evolve in a different way. I can't, man, that just to me sounds like common sense, but maybe that's just me. Just got to accept that some people's idea of a grail knife is a Milwaukee fastback. That's the truth. Just waiting for pocket light sabers with that drop shutty action. It's great when the design accounts for ease of maintenance along with good quality blades, especially with non-stainless blades. Can we go backwards on knife laws? To a time where auto knives were legal. Well, they are still, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And I think we are. I think we have knife rights in our pocket. I think they're going to be backing us up moving forward. Look at Jack Wolf. They still hit the two-handed demographic, but their stuff is sought after because of quality and high-end materials, and they aren't cheap. Any American company could do that. Yeah, and you know what? They did their first locking knife. I'll tell you what, man. It's going to be their most popular knife. I would put money on it right now. That's going to be the most popular knife. That of all the knife designs that they've done, they'll sell the most out of this bolster lock. Why? One, that's what the market wants. So that's reading the room. The market wants that. That's what they want. Number two, they knocked it out of the park. I keep saying, like, I keep getting a new Jack Wolf saying, oh, this is my new favorite. Oh, the next one, oh, that's my new favorite. This is by far, hands down, my favorite Jack Wolf. Hands down, no, not even the other ones. They competed against each other. There is no competition. Now, if he will do this in a Warncliffe or a Spear Point, man, I hope he does, because damn it, it's too good not to. It's too damn good not to. I have one criticism on the entire knife. One, one and a half, 1.5 criticisms on this entire knife, and that's it. So that's huge. That's fucking huge. He knocked it out of the park. I am so proud of him, man. I'm so happy for him. And he's killing it, man. Ben is killing it. But he's paying attention, he's listening while still keeping his own, influence and design, aspects, from his heart, like, in it. So it's not like he's, like, leaving what he likes and what he's doing and only doing what the market wants. Just as a business, doesn't make sense to increase your production quality control if your dog shit quality control knives are flying off the shelf as fast as you can produce them. Exactly. That's true. Why would they change? And it does become a thing. Like, we have to stop buying them for them to change. And I'm not telling anybody to stop buying any knives from any companies. I wouldn't do that. But there are certain companies that will continue having lockstick, will continue having, stupid, ridiculous thick geometry. Other companies, super soft steels. Other companies, super slow action. Other companies, super poor fit and finish. Like, one company we can see it happening to right now, where the evolution is starting to take place, is like Buck, right? Buck's an old company. Buck was leading, just paving the way for a long time, but now it's catching up to them, where they can't do what they were doing yesterday. They have to evolve. And we've seen a little bit of evolution from them, right? And we see them slowly ticking along, but they have an opportunity right now because they're still in the game, and they could change it, man. They could change it in the fourth quarter. They have to fucking read the room. And if they did that, they could, increase their fit and finish, increase just the little details, because that's what matters with those knives. It's those little details, like, don't put button screws on a deep carry clip, right? Things like that, just dumb things like that. Fix your choils and your plunge grinds. How can you not get a plunge grind right? You've been doing knives for how long? Like, just those little details. But if they did that, they would, they just shoot off into space. But if they don't, if they don't. We're going to watch them get left behind. There's only, remember, the next generation will give 2 fucks about a buck 110. I promise you that. The next generation will not give a flying fuck about the buck 110. You already see, even like my generation doesn't, like, I'm a millennial. We halfway care about them, right? I respect them, but I'm not a big buck 110 fan. I respect it. I understand it's, it's held the test of time. I get it. It's a stout knife. It's a badass knife, but it's not what I want anymore. That's not what I don't look for, the things that has in it. I don't look for that in a knife. 2-hand opening. I know they have 1-hand deploying buck 110s. Calm down, buck 110 fans. I know. But for the most part, like, I'm just not looking for low backlock knives that are slow and, yeah. Do you think that the narrows will be more reasonably priced after they get the initial, where'd it go? Fad sales out of the way and then they drop in sales? It depends. If nobody buys it, yeah. If you guys don't line up to buy it at $522, it'll probably go down to about $450. That's what just like Shrade. Shrade did the same thing. You seen what happened with my video, right? I did that video. I didn't know the price on the knives. The next day, I instantly posted a video talking, like, wow, I did not realize they were this price, because I did a video on them and I didn't know the price yet because I was just doing the video on the knives. And, I brought up all the problems with the knives in the video, 100%. But at that point, I didn't know the price. Then I've heard the price and then realized all these problems that I mentioned for this price. What? It didn't make sense. And then within like a month, they dropped like $100. Like they went from like 250 to 150 bucks, like real quick. Nobody was buying them. And you have been a fool to buy it. You really would have, because it's not even that you have to go overseas to get a better knife. You can go to just about any other USA company and get a better knife. So, it's not even just about competing with overseas. It's also about competing with at home. But yeah, as long if people aren't buying them, then yeah, they'll drop. But if people are buying them off the shelf, fuck no, they'll probably raise the price. Hoping for a Tonto bolster lock cyborg jack. So I'm wanting either the Warncliffe one. What is the Midnight Jack, or the Spear Point one? That's what I want. I hope so, man. I really hope so. I'll tell you what, those blades with Warncliffes, man, it's almost like those types of knives were like built for Warncliffes, because it's like you have so much leverage in that tip and they work so good. I was breaking down a box with my new Jack Wolf earlier. The geometry is insane. It's like going through literal hot butter. Like it screams through everything. Like it's almost shocking how easy it passes through materials. Now, obviously, it doesn't have toughness because it's not that type of knife, which that's what I applaud. I applaud it for not trying to go for toughness. It shouldn't. It's not a tough knife. Anyone have hands on the micro Jimbo? I am asking because I just had to reorder. What? Shout out to John Blackman. I can't see the comment. Kara just read it to me. He's been a member for 6 months. What? Hello. Thank you for being a member for 6 months, man. I appreciate it. Will asks if I got my hands on. I did a video on it yesterday or the day before. If you want to see my video on it, but it's got, I think you can pre-order it on Blade HQ. I do have it linked down in the description of the video that I posted the other day. You'll see it because it's in the thumbnail. I have the micro Jimbo in the thumbnail. Did get me the 10V Para 3 and bought my daughter a Pocket Monster and chatted with Swags. Only 2 knives I bought there. You came to Blade Show, Lace? I didn't see you. Did you see me? I only like the Bucks because my grandpa liked them. Even then, it's not a great knife by today's standards. Right. By today's standards. Exactly. And that's what I mean about the evolution. Now there's other companies where they're a bit ahead of that, right? But there's certain aspects of the companies that are, they're not rolling with the times, like heat treats and stuff. Now that I think about it, I've never searched knives like the Buck 110 in Google ever. Because that type of knife just doesn't interest me in this day and age. I know, me either. Me either. I've never, ever, ever searched, like, unless if like I had to research stuff about the Buck 110, but like I've never looked those types of knives up to buy, like, in a serious way. Never. Um, to be honest, I never look up for backlocks. Like the only backlock I'll even mess with is a triad lock. And personally, I'm not even a big fan of that. I love the triad lock's ability. I love the strength, but I just don't like backlocks. I'm not a backlock fan. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the triad lock. But I don't like the backlock part. I'd love to see them continue evolving it, kind of like the shark lock. I think that's genius. But that's evolving, right? That's continued to grow. I wanted a 110 forever, got one and never carried it. Used it camping a couple of times and that's it. Sold it so someone else could enjoy it. There you go. I have a Schrade old timer that it's like a Buck 110, same thing. And I have it because it's sentimental, but it's not, nah, I'll never carry it. You'll never ever, not in a million years, see me carrying it. Blade shape on Buck 110 is great for outdoor field use. It makes the whole thing. I agree. No, I'm not doubting that the clip point blade isn't good, but look, bang. The Jutland, Giant Mouse Jutland, Elmax steel. And Giant Mouse doesn't do a bad job with their Elmax. They also got some knives being made by Reat. This one's made in Italy, but at least their Elmax is good from Italy. And you have, knives like this. This is another Giant Mouse in Magna Cut. So I can go on and on and on. Even, and this isn't USA made, but the We Praxis, this thing is badass. Granted, it's more money. It's about $200, but damn, in my opinion, it's worth it. It's only S35 VM for the 200, but you got a titanium frame lock, and it's one of those knives. I've been carrying it so much, I damn near already need to sharpen it. I've tuned it up already a couple times. I honed it on a rod. I've stropped it multiple times because I've put it through hell already, because I just, you can still see I got schmuck all over it. Because it's a good knife. It's an easy knife to grab. Like when you're about to walk out the door, or when you're just, roaming around the house, you're like, what knife should I grab? You see that it's just easy to grab. It's going to work good. You have no doubt in your mind that it's not going to work good. But I know what you mean about field use and outdoor use. Clip points are great. Clip points are great for that. What pisses me off is when one of you guys gives something a great review and then the price goes up the next day. It happens more than you think. That's kind of abusing what you guys do. Yeah, I agree. And remember, we never know that, right? Like the one time when that happened with the what was it? The Black Mirror, that pissed me off. I even reached out to the company. Like I reached out kind of bitching, like, what the fuck? And they wound up lowering it. They did. I'm not sure if they did it because of me bitching. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I did bitch, and then they did wind up lowering it again after like a month or something. But the point is, though, is that, like, why'd you do that? I literally stated the price and raved about the price. That was the point of the video. And then you turn around and you raise it like $40 on me. So now my fucking video sounds like shit and I'm a liar. But yeah, no, that sucks, man. And remember, we have nothing to do with that. We have no control over that. We never know that when or if that's going to happen. In most cases, it doesn't. But yeah, I know. In some cases, they see it, and then what happens? This is what happens. They have 300 available. They drop it, and in the moment they drop it, 100 of them sell fast, real fast. They say we have 200 left. Let's just up the price by 20, $30 because they're going to sell no matter what anyways. And then now that'll give us, that much more money at the end. And, some of it's greediness, business, and I understand to some extent because it is business, but You should stand by your price. I saw you and Kara at Blade, but I didn't go up to any of the YouTubers. Feels weird. The fuck, man. I was waiting for you too. You should have came up. Seriously, I told everybody to come up. I wish you would have. I want to say hi to everybody. I want to meet everybody. A lot of people did come up, but you didn't. And I gotta say, I'm pretty upset about that. I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel by the end of this. But yeah, shame on you. I wish people would stop making these stupid fucking automatic beard combs. If I pulled one out right now, that'd be hilarious. I don't have one though. Oh, that's hilarious. Says the guy that just bought a dragonfly. I did just buy a dragonfly. What's wrong with that? Dragonflies are dope. I don't understand. What do you mean? What does that mean? Dragonfly's got good steel, good heat treat. Granted, the scales are FRN, but I can buy different scales. So I'm not mad at that because I was probably going to get new scales for it, even if it was G10. So, and it's it's not USA made. It's Seki City, Japan. So Japanese made. They do a great job with their steels. So I don't know what that means. I thought that was a good purchase. Talking and drinking around kids, so I just called it a night on Saturday. Seems I posted would it be okay if I brought my daughter to the pit post on Instagram, and about 30% of people was like, yeah, bring her, but a lot of DMs saying it will make people uncomfortable. It's probably a good thing you didn't. It's a lot of drinking and stuff, and it's not that you can't bring your kids. Don't bring them after like 9, right? Like, I'm not sure what time the pit opens, like 7, 8 o'clock or something like that. But we normally don't get there till like 9:30, 10:30 or something like that. Sometimes even later, because it goes like till like 1:30 or something. So, but yeah, it's probably not the best idea to bring children there unless if, like I said, it's earlier in the night, and depending on how old your kids are. Thinking about a 110 right now makes me sad for some reason. The belt health, constant brass tarnishing, frequent steel sharpening, and awkward backlocks just make it so impractical. It does. It absolutely does. I know a lot of people argue, and this is what's funny is like you'll have old timers come out. And listen, I'm not even trying to argue with you old timers, so do not even try to argue because I'm not arguing with you. But I think it's hilarious when they come out and they talk about how it served them just fine the past 40 years or whatever. It did everything I needed to do. It's so I guarantee there was a few people that got caught in a tree or something and needed to pull out their knife and couldn't get it out because they didn't have fucking 2 hands to spare to open up the damn knife to cut themselves loose. And if they would have just had a one-handed knife, but you don't see those guys, right? It's like, it's good that it worked for you, but it's not going to be good in all applications. I can understand on like doing farming and things like that. Maybe it's a good knife for you, but Choir Boy, shout out to Choir Boy. I got to meet Scab at Blade Show, and I'm so pissed that we didn't get to hang out longer. I really, really wish we could have hung out longer. Next show, man, we got to hang out longer, man. It bugs me still now. Hey, baby,
Yeah.
will you make me more coffee? Oh my God, the Dragonfly is a must-have mouth. Thank you. Yes. So wildly useful. My K390 DF2 is one of my staples. Yeah, the Dragonfly is fire. It's small. It's there's nothing special about it. That's the thing. But the one thing that is special about it, I guess there's one thing besides the steel, is that it's almost like a knife that punches above its weight class. So like obviously a big knife's going to be able to do what a big knife does, and it can't do what a big knife does, but it can compete. It's so slicey. The tip is it's a Warncliffe. So for the majority of things people use knives for, and that's what I'm speaking from, like the majority of times you pull your knife out of your pocket, right? Whatever it is to do. Say if you open up your bag of chips, you're opening up your box, whatever you're doing, cutting your straps, strings, whatever, that when you bring out your knife, the majority, the 90% of things you use your knife for, the Dragonfly will excel. It will do amazing. So granted, it might not be able to do that 10% of bigger tasks, but that 90%, man, it's going to have in the bag. Who sells scales for pair 3 lightweight that are good? Check my original goat link. I think they yeah, Etsy's got some, but try original goat just in case. Also, you can go to my Blade HQ link and try Flytanium. So first try original goat. If not that, then go to Blade HQ. Both linked down in the description. You can get a 15% discount code from original goat using my discount code. But also, if you go to Blade HQ, you can click Flytanium. They might have some in Flytanium. Check that out. I'm probably going to get some Flytanium scales for my my matriarch. Some titanium scales for the matriarch. Strengthen it up a little bit. It was gorgeous. We literally caught rainbow trout and cooked them right at the stream for dinner every day. So amazing and fun. That sounds beautiful. You were talking shit about backlocks, Dragon. Yeah, but it's a one-handed backlog. I guess my point is like, and that's why I said I don't mind triad locks so much, because they're you can use them one-handed. So with the Dragonfly, you use one-handed. What I don't like is two-hand opening. That's what I meant by backlog, is the two-hand opening ones. And even then, I'm not a big fan of backlocks. Even the one-hand ones, I prefer a different lock. For the Dragonfly, yes, I would love it to be a compression lock or another type of lock. But you know, I got to take what I can get because I still love the knife. But I do appreciate that I can use it one-handed. What I do not like, and I'll never care, you'll never ever see it in my pocket. You will never ever ever ever, not in a million years, see a two-hand backlock in my pocket ever. If I can do it one-handed, I'll carry it. But if I can't do it one-handed, I don't give a fuck about it. I gotta be able to do it one-handed. I've had just too many, like, and I know it sounds crazy, and it's just the way my brain works, but I feel like if I carry a two-handed knife to open it, I feel like if that's my only knife, right? It's different if I have another knife, right? And then I have, you know, like say a slip joint in my pocket. But if it's my only knife, I'm gonna run into a situation where I need to deploy my knife one-handed and use it. And I it's like a fear in my head. And I've had situations like that happen to me, and that's probably why it's such a fear for me. But you know, I feel like, you know, like the worst thing will happen when I least expect it or when I'm not prepared. And I can't stand it. I feel like I'm running around with my pants down. Jim Miller. I know it sounds stupid, and it might sound stupid to you, but it doesn't to me. 5 bones from Jim Miller. Thank you, man. I'm an old timer, and you're right. I got in that exact situation. Thank you for admitting that, Jim. I do appreciate the 5 bones. But yeah, man, I think we're all gonna, you know, we're all gonna get in that situation. We're all gonna get stuck on things. Chris, 2 Bones Jones with the 5 bones. I love saying that shit. Walked uphill both ways in the snow to school with my Barlow when I was a youngster. I had to walk to school too when I was a kid. If anyone get the satin one and wants to sell it, I will buy it. Next show it's on. Yes, it is. Hopefully, you know, Joe is able to, hopefully you guys are able to come all 3 days, man, because it's so much easier to plan like a dinner or something like that, or a hangout, you know, if both parties are there all 3 days. But yeah, man, I really, really would love to take you guys out to eat or something like that. I would love that. I'm starting to feel about liner locks is right behind the Buck 110 to go Hall of Fame and stay there. So I personally like liner locks. I don't mind liner locks, and I know what you're saying because there's so many of them, and it's like there's so many locks out there that they could do more, you know, innovative stuff. But I don't think there's anything wrong with liner locks. I for the most part like a good frame lock and a good liner lock. Some of my favorite knives are frame locks or bolster locks and liner locks. So I don't mind them. But I also still do love seeing innovative locks and new locking systems that basically capture everything we want in a lock, you know. Fidget factor, ease of use, lock strength, you know, all the good stuff. All right, I'm going to catch up. Sorry if I missed any comments. Pro tip for Blade Show: get there 1 day early and stick around 1 day late. That way you can relax and focus on the show. That's what we're going to do next year. And we did do that this year. Don't get me wrong. We got there 1 day early and left 1 day late. and it is a lot better than doing it any other way. However, we're probably going to do 2 days next time, because you almost want like just 1 day of full recovery before you start dealing with airports and everything. And then getting there 1 day early, like no, 2 days early, because the day early, you still have to go to the show to get your early bird tickets and stuff. So it's not like you don't have stuff to do. So gives you time. Aaron says he'll never buy a frame or liner lock again. Well, luckily there's a lot of great locks for you though. You got you got compression locks, you got crossbar locks, you got button locks, you got the button compression lock, and now, like I keep saying, the compression lock's patent's over. So you're gonna see a lot of companies start using this compression lock, and they're probably gonna do it even better because they're gonna want to innovate it. So a lot of them are gonna probably put buttons on it. You know, they're going to be just like this, probably with an actual button there, like kind of like this with an OC or a CME from OCD for EDC. So that's probably what we're going to start seeing a lot of. So expect that. And as far as lock strength goes, I think the compression lock holds 150 pounds. So it holds about 150 pounds, which supposedly, I haven't tested this theory, but supposedly, in order to baton with a knife, in order to, hammer a knife through something, it needs to be able to hold at least 100 pounds. So 150 pounds is a pretty strong lock. I'm not saying some of them don't slip, some of them don't fail. I'm not saying that at all. But for the majority of them that have a good lockup and are solid, they should hold about 150 pounds, considering the blade stock thickness, obviously, right? Because the blade snaps and the lock doesn't really matter. Yeah, I agree. So Connolly, right back there. I love their liner lock. It's nice and robust. It's a titanium liner with a hardened steel lock bar insert. Mine's rock solid lockup. Mine's a beast. My compression lock PM3 does not drop shut like I'm seeing it doing all these. So one thing, make sure you oil your detent ball. So oil your detent ball back here. You have your detent ball. You'll see it if you just look through. You'll see it pop up and down on the lock face. So make sure you put a drop of KPL heavy on there, and then make sure your washers are also oiled up to some extent, not a lot, but a little bit. And then try it out. Make sure your pivot's not too tight. Make sure your tolerances are right, because what's most likely happening is you have your scale. It's not flat. It's probably like this, where this is tighter and this is looser. And instead of it going on perfectly flat like this, it goes on like this. So maybe take the scale off and put it back on. Make sure it's nice and flat. Don't tighten one screw down before the other. Like, don't tighten one all the way down and then go to the other side. Just, lightly tighten each one in and then start going around and tightening it up slowly. Come out at the blade show. It was there. I got a video on it if you want to see it. I posted it yesterday or the day before. It's not available yet, but it is. I think it might be available for pre-order. I do have it linked, so you can check out the video. It is linked in the description of the video I posted yesterday or the day before, and you'll know it's the right video because I have it in the thumbnail. Jared, what do you think of the CJRB's recoil lock? I thought it was cool as fuck until it pinched the canine poo out of my whittle finger. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. So what I didn't like about it is that the detent are so weak. It makes it for weak action. And it's the same thing with like crossbar locks. I love crossbar locks, but a lot of companies crossbar locks, man, they have super soft detents. And I like a good snappy detent. I love a poppy detent. But with a lot of crossbar locks, it's like wah wah. So I that's why I respect the clutch lock so much from Kaiser. They knocked it out of the park with that clutch lock. Can you imagine being a company that invented? Thank you, baby, so much. Can you imagine being a company that invented the crossbar lock? Then this Chinese company comes swooping in and does it even better while you're still doing them. To think in 20 years you couldn't evolve? 58 years ago when the Buck 110 was released, it was revolutionary. Most folders before then were small, non-locking. All the family elders carried them and could open and close them one-handed. I'm not taking that away from it either. That's what I mean when I say that I know it stood the test of time and it's nostalgic. I give credit where it's due. It is a 100% iconic knife, and I will never take that away from it. But in today's knife market, it is falling by the wayside. Most people are not wanting that type of knife. That's one thing. But aside from that, it doesn't have the very things that most of the people that love knives want in the knife world. Not that some people aren't going to still love it for, you know, for whatever reasons. And I'm not saying it's not a good knife. It's still a good tool, you know, but there's just so much better. It's kind of like this, right? A 57 Chevy is still badass, still dope as shit, but it's not going to compete against the Tesla, right? And I'm not even rooting for electric cars or anything. I'm just saying, you know, something that has 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. I think of 110 as the 1911 of knives. I wouldn't go that far, but I see where you're going there, James. I see where you're going there. You better watch out, though, man. There's probably a lot of 1911 fanboys in this fucking chat right now. Just saying. And there's probably some Buck 110 fans that I've already pissed off. We don't want to piss off both parties. Why evolve? You had the patent. Cynical, I know, but it's true. This is hopefully the kick in the ass needed. I hope so. I really hope so. Well, same thing. You know what? I can say the same thing about Spyderco, right? They have this locking system that's so dope. Why have they never evolved it? Okay, let me be clear. They did with the smock, so I don't want to take that from them. They did the smock with the button, right? But why on earth haven't they done this where they built this out, where it's like flush right here, where you could use it left or right-handed, right? Like the CME from OCD for EDC. Just basically the same thing, just built in. Why haven't they not done that? Like, I couldn't imagine having a knife company for so long and not like thinking of those little things. Maybe it's just me. I'm always like thinking of evolving and stuff, even with my channel and stuff. So maybe it's just me. Maybe some people are just like, if it works, it works. Don't fix it unless it's broke. So somebody left me in the chat the other day about using metal honing rods. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Aaron says, I like my Weave Vision R, but want a Demco next. They're very different. Let me tell you, very different. But I understand what you're saying because the locking system is very similar. I tried to warn them. 1911 has a trigger by which all others will forever be judged. Did I hear someone speak of the pinnacle of firearms chambered in God's caliber? I tried to warn them. Is it such a great shooting round and so easy and cheap to reload for? Woo woo! Crane's Cutlery has EXO-Ks in stock. Just got one. Get them while they are hot, everybody. Awesome, man. Good for you. Oh yeah. I'm not an affiliate with them, so I'm not going to link them, but I am going to see if one of my affiliates just dropped it or not. Oh, what an idiot. But I did see, and I do want to talk about that knife really quick because I did see Melissa Backwoods. Oh shit, they already dropped and sold out, and I didn't even catch it. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, guys. I've been so I'm gonna blame it on Kara. I'm gonna beat her later for that. The EXO-Ks, they Melissa Backwoods did a video on it, and she said that she was trying to get it to fail because obviously people seen my video and seen that it was failing, right? Well, the new ones came to me, they were still failing. Now, when you switch the clip, like I said in the video, it does help massively. But it's still very possible. And if you do have the clip on the wrong side, 100%, 9 out of 10 times it failed on me. So, and that's not in an EDCUs. That's saying if you're getting it out rapidly, right? You whip it out rapidly, get it ready, and you go to work. That's when it happens, right? Because that's when you're hanging on for dear life. You're choked all the way up as high as you can. Now, if you just open it up and you start carving into a box, it's probably not going to do it to you. You got to actually rapidly open it up and act like you're in a situation. If you do that, your hand just happens to choke up higher than it typically would if you're gently pulling your knife out, right? So I left a comment on her video saying that I've tried 4 different versions and all 4 of them failed on me. Right now, like I said, when you flip the clip, it does help. It does help, and like helps a lot. Like, I'm not even sure if it failed on me with the clip flip. So that is a big difference if you flip the clip. So just letting you guys know, make sure you flip the clip to the button side, whatever side the button's on, that's the side that you want the clip on, and then it most likely won't fail on you. But if it's not flipped, it will absolutely fail on you. And to me, if it has the possibility of failure, then it's most likely going to fail you. Obviously, this is, it's kind of a self-defense knife, but more likely it's just like a fidget toy. So, it's just kind of in that gray area where, of course, nobody's probably ever going to use it in a self-defense situation. But if you were carrying it for a self-defense situation and something did happen, you'd want to know that it could survive. I wouldn't recommend it for that because it has a chance, right? Even if 10 out of 10 times it doesn't fail on you, but it still has the potential to, you still don't want to take that chance in that type of situation. Now, I will be clear. If it fails, it doesn't do anything. So, because what will happen is when it fails, it just like, it's not like it'll close because it still has to open all the way up to close. So nothing will really happen, if it does fail, just you'll feel it starting to open up in your hand a little bit. And I'm talking about the Karambit version. Yeah, I seen Lynn Thompson was at Blade Show. I didn't get to say anything to him. I didn't see him. That would have been cool though. She is really cool, and I'm not like don't take it. I'm talking shit right now because I'm not. I was just saying in her hands it wasn't failing. Her hands are probably smaller than mine, I would imagine. So for her, it wasn't possible to fail. I don't know if she was rapidly deploying it and getting into work like in an exciting way. And I try to do that. Let me be clear. Anytime I want to like reenact like a self-defense situation, you're never most likely not going to take your knife out calmly, right? You're going to rapidly pull that knife out, get to work, and start going to town, right? So you kind of got to pretend that, even though, you'll never be able to pretend it perfectly in a situation, because in a situation, you're most likely going to be being hit. You're most likely going to be being dragged. You're going to be getting choked. Somebody's going to be on top of you or behind you or carrying your legs. Like, so many things can happen that before you even get a chance to go for your knife in a situation where you might be using it. So because of that, it's very, very difficult to plan for, but you can train, plan as much as you can. But at the very least, knowing how to rapidly deploy it. And with a knife like that, I personally would never recommend that as a self-defense knife because it's just too much, right? If like a fixed blade is always going to be the best choice because it's just out to work, right? If you have to manipulate it and shit, it's already too late. Because this is the thing. If you can't do it, if you can't open it up reliably with me bum rushing you, and I mean like bum rushing you as fast as I can, then it's probably not going to work for you in real life. Or let's say if I have a 120-pound German Shepherd right now, and I sicked him on your ass, and he's coming after you, could you get it out? Right? And the dog's going to get to you before you get it out. Let's just be clear about that. So now he's already got you by the arm and he's dragging you all around, 110 pounds, dragging you left and right, fucking shaking your arm. Could you pull it out? Right? Most likely not. Jared recommends Buck 110 with the wave feature. I wanted to talk to Zach in a while. I did too. I actually had something I had to give back to him, but I didn't see him. I didn't see him at all. I wish I would have seen him, man. I still haven't met him in person. We were supposed to meet up at the show, but then he dogged me out and he left me hanging. Left me hanging at the show. No, I'm just joking. I didn't see him. He didn't see me, so we didn't get a chance to stop each other. It's kind of weird how that goes because it's so easy to do that. We're like in the show, you're walking this way, they're walking this way. You go this way, they go this way. And you literally just circle each other the entire show and you never run into each other. That happened to me with so many people. I totally agree. That's why I would never draw a knife in a situation like that. Bang, bang only. Yeah, but I think there's still situations that like the bang, bang might not, depending on the situation, right? Obviously, if it's, like maybe some of the ones I was mentioning, then yeah. But there's going to be somewhere I think the knife is the better choice. It just depends on the situation. But yeah, in the case that the bang, bang is the better choice, then yeah, fuck yeah. Pull that out. But there's also the chance that somebody's grabbing that bang, bang. Right. And you know how many times I've seen that? I even had that happen to me one time. I had somebody pull my fucking gun out from my holster and point it at me. So, I mean, it can happen like where somebody's literally attacking your gun and you're fighting for your life for them not to get your fucking gun. Yeah, Zach's putting in that work for sure. I actually had one of his knives. I guess I'll briefly talk about it. I haven't shown it on the channel because it came with a problem. So, and I didn't want to, I don't want to hurt his business or anything. And I know it's a lemon. Like, I know it's not like, it's not going to reflect all the knives. So, and I know that. I know it's not that. So, because I know 100% it's just a lemon and it just shit happens, I didn't want to make a video about it, talking about it. I'd rather just give it back to him. He can give me a new one or something like that. And that was the plan at Blade Show, but I never got to see him. When you're fighting a guy over a pew pew and his pits come after you, yeah, bang, bang is the option. Yeah, I mean but what I'm saying is that if you're fighting for the pew pew and he's on top of you, right? Like if you had a bladed object right then, that'd be a good way to get him off of you, you know. It's kind of like look at T Cal. T Cal, the way he carries, he's got his firearm here, but then he's got easy access to his blade from his left hand. So if something happens where he has to jam his firearm down to prevent somebody from getting it, he can get to his blade and go to work. I'm just, obviously train for lots of different situations and just be comfortable training, right? If you're comfortable training, you'll be a lot more comfortable in the act, right? Because man, you hit such an, I don't think people even know what an adrenaline dump feels like. But when you really go through an adrenaline dump, it's almost like you're going through shock. It's crazy what happens to your body. Like even the way your body works, like because your nerves are so going crazy that it's almost like your fingers don't work. And I'm not exaggerating. Like your hands go numb, your arms feel weightless, like you can't even use them, and like all these things are happening to you because your adrenaline is just like going through the fucking roof. So the things that you think you can do in a controlled environment are way different when your life is on the line, and it really means it. It really fucking means it. So that's why it's better to reenact it. So you're just slightly more comfortable in the situations, you know. Even if you're just doing it by yourself in your bedroom, like I know that's not like the most ideal situation, but it's better than nothing. Right? It's better than nothing to and also whoops. Also, get your mind mentally prepared. Put your like I don't know. Personally for me, since I've had so many things happen to me, I think about shit all the time and I think about things that have already happened, but I also think about things that haven't happened, right? Things that could happen or things that could have happened or situations I've been in and could have went this way or that way. And I constantly reenact them in my head and like what I would have done or would not have done or, how it would have turned out. And that's why I say a lot of times like that and I'm not saying women don't do this, but I think this is more of a man's thing that we die sometimes 1,000 deaths a day. Right. That's why I tell Kara, fucking do the damn dishes because I died for you already 1,000 times today in my head. But it's true though, you know, like you decide that like if you're on a trail, right? And you think like if a bear comes out of the woods, what am I gonna do? Right? What am I gonna do? Right? If I'm with my if I'm with my child, I don't have a child, but if I had a child, if I had my child, my wife, you know, nieces, nephews, something like that, what am I gonna do? I'm obviously gonna let them get away, right? And I'm gonna have to fight the fucking bear. You're gonna lose, but that's okay. That's you're gonna sacrifice for them to get away, right? That's just a sacrifice you're willing to do, right? And it's not even a second thought. You know, you're gonna do it, right? So it's just is what it is. Like it's like that's why we're put here, right? Like, as men, that's our duty. Our duty is to fucking die. So, you know, it's okay. But you know, when you've relived that and you've planned that in your head so many times, like over and over and over with all different kinds of situations, you know, sometimes it feels like you've died 1,000 deaths. No, not in reality, you know, but like in your head, you know, where you've kind of reenacted it out and thought it out like what would you do? Obviously, when you're put through the situation, things change, right? Things change. Things change when your life's really on the line, you know, but that's why it's smart to try to put yourself through stressful situations so you can at least know what you're going to do in a stressful situation, because you really don't. You don't know what you're going to do until you're put through it. Like a lot of people say they'd fight when they'd run. A lot of people would say they'd fight when they'd freeze. And I've seen a lot of people. I've had even friends, you know, freeze up, you know, excuse me, in situations. And you know, and it's not even like that they were being a bitch or anything like that. It's just, you know, like I said, when your adrenaline dumps and things happen, man. Sometimes you don't it doesn't go the way you wished it would have, and then you regret, and then you're very regretful. You'd be very surprised how many shots a bear can take. They get crazy when they get hurt. Yeah, that's why, you know, like in that situation, you're not planning on surviving it. It's self-defense in this modern city world. Tactical repetition training, dry fire at home. Got a plan for the adrenaline dump and the ear ringing and confusion. Good point. Not to mention that you will be arrested even as the good guy in the situation. Yes, you will. I think that's the last thought, but yeah, for sure. You're gonna, after everything, you're gonna get locked up. And it could be for a couple months, could be for a couple days, might be for an hour. Like you don't know. But if it winds up being a 3-month thing, that's a whole other situation in itself. Let me tell you, a whole nother fucking situation, getting locked up for a couple months. You know, you're going to be out of your environment with people that are criminals, you know, people that live that life every day. That's all they do is think criminal shit all day, every fucking day. It's all they know. And now you're surrounded by them, you know. And I'm not talking shit about those people. I used to be that person, so I'm not talking shit. Um, but yeah, and you know what? Let me tell you, when you're locked up and somebody comes in that's not, you know, like you can tell like they probably didn't do nothing that bad. They're not going to be in here that long, or maybe they are in here for a while, but they're not from the streets. Like they don't know, they have no idea what the fuck to do. You could see it. They look like a deer with headlights. Like, I mean, they are, it's clear as day. They stand out like a sore thumb. And everybody reacts like vultures. And whew, man, I've seen some people get bullied massively, like from shit like that, just because they don't, you know, they just don't know any better. And they don't know how to respond or act in a way that would benefit them. And they wind up doing things and talking to people that are just conning them. They're literally conning them with every word that comes out of their mouth is just testing the waters of that person. And you think they're friendly and they're not being friendly at all. They are deceiving you. And everybody else knows except for you. And you're, man, bad situations. Lacey, I'm familiar with it. I pack my Magnaport Super Black Hawk, Super Black Hawk hand cannon, but that sucker is heavy. I used to have a custom one with custom grips and a scope on the top. Plan for the cops to be yelling at you to put the gun down, please. You know what I seen, Chris Two Bone Jones? I seen the other day. Um, there was this trailer, or I think it was a trailer, and the cops sent a drone into the trailer, right, to look around because they had a warrant or something. The drone is on the ground. The cops start screaming, "Come out of the house! Come out of the house! Come out so you can talk! Just come out so we can talk! You know, nothing will happen if you just come out so we can talk." So the guy like walks out of the bedroom with his wife, and looks down, sees the drone, picks up the drone, right? Picks up the drone, and then walks out the door. And then they start shooting him because he has the drone in his hand, as if they don't know they just sent the drone in there. So fucking stupid. It's like, come on, man. Like, I understand cops are thinking in a split second situation. I get it. But when the door opens up, make sure it's a gun. Like, be 100%, right? You know you're behind cars and stuff. Like, you got some sort of safety net to some extent. You got bulletproof vests on, you got cars in between you, all these things. He's in a doorway with lights shining, beaming in his eyes. He can't even see you. So you can see him very clearly. Make sure that he's not holding the same drone you just sent into his place. So yeah, they shot him up. Think about that. Can you imagine? Like cooperating, hands up, you got the drone in your hand coming out because it was on your floor, you know, and you're like, what the, and it's bright too, by the way. The thing has a light on it. So when he comes out, maybe it kind of looks like a gun with a light on it, maybe, or something. I don't know. But they know what they sent in there. That was real world. No, that was real world. You can watch it on I seen it on it was Hodge Twins. I seen it on Hodge Twins. They were making fun of it. Jimmy, my father, had a 700 XP and a 300 Winchester mag, bolt action pistol with 200. It was bad. Oh, we got a new member. Mino Knife. Shout you. I thought you were already a member. Am I wrong? I thought you were. Either way, shout out to all the new members. We have a Bang Gang live tomorrow. So hopefully I'll see most of you guys there. And it says police are not there to protect and serve us. Fuck no, they're not. Fuck no, they're not. I don't know if that's ever happened to me. I've definitely had friends and family that have been like, you know, helped by the police, but with all 200 times I've ran into the cops, it's never been for that. But yeah, no, in most cases, they're just coming to clean the scene up or coming to investigate the crime that already took place, not to prevent the crime. All right. They're there to fuck you up. And that's how I know them. And I'm not saying that's in all cases. I know we probably have a couple cops in here, and I'm not talking shit. Listen, I respect the cops. I know you guys have a fucking a duty and a hard job, and I have no doubt. I can't imagine being in the situation, so I'm not trying to take that away from you at all. But you know, I've been in so many situations with bad cops, so many. And even as a bad guy, like in knowing I'm the bad guy in the situation, but still, you know, dealing with a cop that's even, you know, I don't know about worse, but still being bad. Jim, I agree. Down here in Florida, big hogs are all over in the woods and they can be freaking terrifying. Yeah, man, people are taking them out like crazy though, because there's so many of those hogs. They're just like destroying shit. $600 for a suppressor, $200 for a stamp. 8 to 12 months of twiddling your damn thumbs. It's a shame they swarm on those guys like vultures. You can tell when a person just made a shitty mistake and got locked up, and a person that is a career scumbag. Yeah, for sure. So, like, it does depend, right? It does depend. Like, but for the most part, yeah, if you're going to be in there for a little bit, they're going to swarm you like vultures. Like, if they can tell you're going to be out in an hour or two, they're not gonna fuck with you because they know you're just going to be gone. But if they have time to really fuck with you, you know, because then you can get extorted, you know, you're going to have money on your books. They're going to be able to fuck with you. So, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But that's why, you know, if you're kind of well versed, like with me, I'm so well versed with the streets, you know, and I've been in jail so many times, so like it ain't nothing for me. But but for a lot of people it is. And it's just, if you're good at talking, good at talking with people, and reading people's body language and reading like their intentions and stuff, and cutting it off, like if you can see like that this is not a good thing, call it out, man. Call it out instantly, because that'll catch them off guard. You don't want to seem like somebody who's about to let something happen to you happen right in front of you. Just call it out. And if you get into a fight over it, you get into a fight over it, but it's better than what could happen. Jared, that isn't making a dent in the hog population. I know it's not. I know it's not. That's what I meant. Like that they're taking them out like crazy and they're still fucking shit up. I know. I've seen a lot of the videos and the stories, and it's crazy what they're doing. They're just massacring farmland and agriculture, and it's sad, really. Because that's, man, it sucks. It sucks big time. And it's crazy how it started too, because it like started with like 12 of them. Fucking things are like mice. I'm a poker player, so I'm definitely good at reading people and talking mad shit. Yeah, if you can do that, you're usually pretty good. Like, you'd be surprised the type of environments and people you can be around in if you just know how to talk the talk. If you just know how to talk some bullshit, and you know how to, flap your lips a little bit. Because at the very least, they're not going to know. They're not going to understand. Like, you're going to confuse them, and they're going to wait to find out. If they're going to make me have a stamp for a pistol brace, might as well go all in and get a suppressor. I don't think they understand what they're doing. I know. I think it's all stupid. I think it's 100% all stupid. Even though like I'm a felon and I can't carry a firearm, I 100% want everybody else to. Even if I can't. Like I fucking hate, I despise, I get mad, I get angry watching like some of these like debates with people sitting there like wanting to give up their second amendment, and like just like wanting to hand it away. They have no idea what they're talking about, like no clue at all. They don't understand history, they don't understand why we have it, they don't even understand firearms that they're trying to get rid of, or the statistics around them. Like it's just all they know is like CNN talking points, and it's sad. It's so sad. It's like those would be the very people that would have been like helping the Nazis and stuff, like just been so manipulated and into doing shit. It's nice to know we have more than knives in common. Most of those guys that huff and puff are blowing smoke half the time, seeing if you're gonna be out. If you're gonna bitch out. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And a lot of it is just a little bit of testing. You're gonna get tested. Felony is the reason I no longer have my gun. Sucks, but I have enough knives to make up now and know how to use them. There you go. They want to know what you have so they can eventually try and take it. For sure. Absolutely. They want to know as much about you as possible so they can have control over it, for sure. Of course. Of course they do. That's what it's always about. It's always about manipulation and control. But that's why it's not supposed to be like that here in this country. We're supposed to have the full control, right? We the people, but people don't even understand the Constitution anymore. It angers me, so I don't want to talk about it. Those bump stock bans were really dumb. Yes, I agree. Like banning automatic knives after a kitchen knife came right. That's the problem. They want to know what. Yeah, I already read that. It's not about the tools, it's about control. Yes, it is. Jared, you get the drift with the thumb hole quiet carry, right? I don't know, man. I don't know if I've got that one yet. I hope I get it. I hope I get it. Yeah, I got it. You're right, Jared. I'm with you, brother. Neither party cares about the Constitution. They have the same masters. Facts. 100%. I would say that that's mostly true I'd say on the like on the grand scheme of things it is, but I would say for the little guys, like because there's different parts. Obviously, I hate to go down this rabbit hole, so I'm not going to go deep, but I'm just saying, like, there's obviously like their state, and then it goes bigger. I would say like those are the ones like that are trying to protect our rights, right? They're the ones that are trying to fight for our rights, right? And fight for the constitutional rights and all that bullshit. So I would say there's still one party that's going to help you more, because you can even see it as far as business taxes, all that stuff, right? One party wants lower taxes, one party wants big business to be in control with big government, right? And the other one wants the people to have control and the people to have big business and things like that, not the government in control with big business. So I would say there's still one party that's going to hopefully be better, but yeah, I agree. It's kind of like the news stations, right? They're all owned by one group. And then they're just like feeding two different sides for us to fight. That's all it's about. It's always about that. It's literally the whole. What is this story about the red ants and the black ants in the jar, and the guy sitting there shaking the jar? The black ants think the red ants are doing it, and the red ants think the black ants are doing it, but really it's just the guy shaking the jar. That's what it is. Alabama sucks in a lot of ways, but our gun and knife laws are great. Good for you. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Politicians ain't for you unless you have money. The sooner you realize this, the better. But yeah, it's I pray for the future of this country. As we all do. I know, but we'll see how it goes. I would say we all just need to do our part, even if you can't do that much. Something is better than nothing. And I know it's like difficult. Like if you look at it, like, what can I really do? And it is easy to look at it like that. Like, does it even matter what I do? You almost feel like it's all controlled anyways. Like it doesn't matter what you do. Like it's almost all set and planned regardless of what you do. But I don't 100% agree with that. I think what it is that we're all manipulated into that. Like it's so easy to manipulate us right now. Like they can put 20 things on the news right now and have everybody talking about the same thing tomorrow, literally agreeing or disagreeing and fighting tomorrow about one topic. And then while they're actually doing something, right? They're actually doing something over here, and they throw some sprinkles over here for us to fucking bitch about. And it's so stupid because we can't see that it's all a setup. It's all just set up for us to fight, man. And the sooner we realize that, and I think a lot of us are seeing that, I think a lot of us are waking up to that. But if the majority of the people woke up and seen that and said it's all bullshit, all of it is bullshit, then we would realize that, like you could team up against it and say, we're not listening to this shit no more. We don't care what you have to say. We don't care what you uncovered. We don't care if you pointing the finger over here or over there or whatever. Like we know your scheme. We know what you guys are doing, and we want our country back. I would most definitely protect my house with a semi-auto air rifle, huh? 100, 250 pounds. Yeah, I had one that had 1100. Sorry. It went, it shot 1100 feet per second. There's some very high powered air rifles. Like you'd be surprised. Like I even watched this one dude. He had a semi-auto. It had a big ass air tank on it, and he was shooting coyotes and deer, killing coyotes and deer with an air rifle. It's stronger than a 22. So it's not bad. It's not a bad idea. I mean, it will obviously, do the job you're trying to do for sure. And it's super quiet. That's another thing. It's so quiet. Obviously there's a sound, but it's not as loud as a 22. You gotta learn to navigate observable reality. Yeah, but so many people just don't see it, man. And that's the sad part, is that like it blows my mind sometimes when I hear people talking about these same talking points that like have been debunked or like that are just dumb. Like it's like, how are you talking about this and not realizing that you have been mind controlled? into talking about this. They did this to you on purpose, man. My crossbow is freaking sweet. I used to have a badass crossbow. I used to have a badass bow. I used to do archery. It's been a long time, but I used to be in tournaments and shit. I'd love to get another one of these days. Some will kill a hog, but those are loud. People have killed Cape Buffalo with those air guns. No shit. I believe it though. I believe though, you know, right through the center. I believe it because they're super powerful. I mean, 1,100 feet per second, you know, especially with a pellet that's what's it called? I can't think of what it's called. Not hypersonic. I can't think of what it's called. Daniel Cad with the 10 bones. Do not play into the agenda and propaganda. All this stuff is evil we're seeing today. Thank you, Daniel, for the 10 bones. And yeah, I agree. I agree. What's up, Louie? Reality is entirely based off your own experience and world view. Yeah. But there's still a reality, right? Like I don't like, not that I don't like, because I understand what people mean when they say my truth, but there is no such thing as my truth. There's the truth, right? There's the truth, and opinions can be wrong, right? Like right now, if I said 1 + 1 is 5, even if that's my opinion, I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong because the fact is that 1 + 1 is 4. No, I'm just joking. It's 2. So, you know, there is still a reality, but you know, but I get when you're talking about experience and things like that, but that's also like I can't sit here and run around and say, um, I'm not starving, so starving people don't exist. The reality is starving people do exist. Just because I'm not experiencing, just because that's not my reality doesn't mean it's not reality, right? Like so, but a lot of people don't think that wide. So Todd Carr says Daniel donated 5 memberships. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. You guys having my back because you guys know I can't see it. Thank you so much. And shout out to Dan for donating the 5 new members. Tomorrow, everybody who's a new member, tomorrow we have a Bang Gang live sharpening. And if you guys have specific things you guys want me to talk about or show or bring up or have ready in that video or in tomorrow's live sharpening, let me know and I will make sure we have it available. You can let me know either, as I always get it started 30 minutes before, so you'll see the notification for us going live in 30 minutes. So you can tell me then, and I'll make sure I get the shit ready if you see it, or you can just message me. Hopefully I'll see it. If I don't, just make sure you come in the chat and do it. I did not grab the narrow snow. I did not. I didn't even get to try it. Daniel K. Most fun I ever had with clothes on. That's what you call the Daniel Cad? No, I'm just joking. What you're saying is personal perspective. Just because it's snowing where you are doesn't mean global warming doesn't exist. I don't believe in fucking global warming, to be honest. I mean, I believe the globe warms. I just think it's just natural occurring things. Do we add to it? Maybe a little bit, but not like that they're saying. Like they've been doing this shit for 100 years. You can literally go back 100 years, and every 10 years they talk about another catastrophic event that never happens. And you can just see it. They do it every 10 years. I just, you know, do I believe in global warming? Yeah, because it naturally happens. And if you see it, like I seen the graph, it was showing the graph that shows it like over like an entire span. And we're actually like lower than we were, you know, like hundreds of years ago, like or 1,000 years ago. I don't know, but you'd have to look at it yourself. But the point is, though, is that they're making it seem like we are like at the peak of where we've ever been and shit. And it's like that's just not true. You know, the temperature goes up and down, things change, the earth evolves. And, you know, are we contributing? Probably to some extent, but I don't think to the extent that they try to make it seem like. I think that's another control tactic. I mean, it's super easy. Like, think about it. If I can get you to drive cars that I can control just by telling you the fucking earth is overheating, why wouldn't I? I have monopoly on the cars, and then when you don't fucking listen to me, I can turn your car off. Now you're gonna listen, you fuck. Like, that's what I think it's about. I just think it's about that. Um, Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Climate, exactly, Fred. Yeah, climate. We can fix this today. We just need some higher taxes. Exactly. Oh, it's so true. I tried to check a sign that is here in my country about guns, but it won't let it through. Yeah, that's how they do it here. In YouTube, there's things you can't say. And it's not me. I didn't put that. I have no controls in, by the way. Like some channels have controls in, like if you say this word or that word. I don't have none of that. Uh but YouTube has automatic shit that just is not allowed on any platform. And you already know how they feel about those things. Well, I do think that like their argument for that, and I'm not trying to argue for, so do not take me wrong, but that you will have colder months because that would be like a part of it. It's the fact that the weather's changing so much. So like colder is going to be colder, heat's going to be hotter, tides will be higher, like all those things. Like it's just like all the way around. But like I said, I don't believe in that shit. I think it's just, the way the world works. Because look at what happened to, from the time of dinosaurs, how much the earth has changed, right? And you can go back to like the ice age, right? Go back to the ice age. Were humans fucking it up then? Like that happened, right? That happened without humans. So, yes, fear is the mind killer. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, I'll check it out. I will. We know volcanic eruptions can cause it as well, but we can't control volcanoes. Can't control most things. We can't control any of it, to be honest. Like, of course, we can control our toxicity, I guess, but we in this country, I believe we're the lowest as far as large countries go. Like it's difficult to get any lower emissions than we have as far as massive countries go. Obviously, we're gonna have bigger emissions than some small third world country, but as far as big industrial countries go, we're supposedly the best. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but we definitely got to be better than like some of these other countries we can all name right now. But yeah, let's get back into knives. I agree, Jim. Thanks, Cubo. Yeah. We are products of our specific. So really quick before we get out of here, I did. There was something I wanted to mention. I can't remember now. Fuck. Forget about it. We'll talk nice for about 5 more minutes and then we'll take off. I thought there was something I wanted to bring up to you guys. I can't remember what it was. I don't have any tabs open. Pisses me off I missed that EXO. But China. China. Uh Knives rule. Knives for the win. So, what do you guys? I want you guys to all name. Oh, do story time. What time is it? 6 or 10, 10:07, 10:07. Let me think. We can do a small story time. I didn't have anything planned. Um, I need to start getting more stories planned. And think about it. I guess I can talk about how my dad got paralyzed really quick. So I was 17 and I was doing construction, working construction. So I'm doing construction every day. And I can't remember if I just got off of work. Hey, well, thank you for becoming a member. I will see you tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time, 12 p.m. Central Time. Watch for the live. We have a live sharpening going on. So I was about 17 and I was working construction just like the past, years of my life, every year doing construction. And I was home for whatever reason, whether I just got off of work. I think I just got off of work or something. But I remember I was in my apartment. I got this phone call. And on the phone, it was one of my uncles. And he said, Your dad got hurt. He's in a flight for life, and I'm coming to get you." And I instantly started praying because I knew without a shadow of a doubt he had to be unconscious or dead. One of the two. There's only two things, because my dad, if you knew my dad, you'd know he ain't getting in an ambulance if he can walk. Like, if he can walk and talk, he's not getting in an ambulance. He's either going to be unconscious or dead. That's the only way he's getting in. So I already knew that it was serious, right? And usually when you hear flight for life, you know it's serious, but with him, like, it's got to be really fucking serious. So, and what happened was he was doing excavating sewer and water, and he was down in a hole, and the machine, the backhoe that scoops the ground, was down there with him, and the handle in the machine broke, and it hit him, and it shattered his spine in 21 places, crushed his spine, and in the flight for life, he died twice on the way to Freighter Hospital in Milwaukee. That's, they got the spinal cord shit there. That's why he went there. And it's a phenomenal hospital. Let me be clear, phenomenal hospital. I spent so much time in that hospital. My dad used to tell the people in there, because they were always building new wings, he'd say, that's my wing over there. I paid for that. Right? Because just within 48 hours, his bill was over $1 million. Like, it was crazy. So he was always telling them how how that was his wing and shit, how he paid for it. So, yeah, I'm still going, Ian, a little bit longer. I'm going to finish the story and then we're going to get out of here. So my dad, got hit by the backhoe, paralyzed, and he, was paralyzed from the nipples down all the way down. So no feeling. You only feel from here up. So he had his arms and his neck, right? But without stomach muscles, it's difficult to even sit up. So he was in the hospital for a long time, couldn't talk for a long time, no voice, had to get a trach, like months and months of bullshit, right? I'm not going to get into all that. So eventually he got out though, and then we had a couple nurses at first, right? But here's how crazy my dad is. My dad starts what you could call sexual harassment, right? When they'd bend over, in their shirts like this, he'd scoop his hand down their shirt, or he'd, grab them in certain ways, and they refused to come back. So then my dad, basically, we lost the nurses. Nurses wouldn't come back. And so I started taking care. And I was already taking care of them, but the nurses came a couple times a day to do wound care and things like that. Now they're not coming back. We're fucked. So I was taking care of my dad 24/7, 7 days a week for years. He lived 13 years. There was a couple times I wasn't doing it for like a year or so, but for the most part, about 13 years, I took care of him. I mean, I did all the way through, but there were times I was living in different places and things like that. But anyway, so take care of bed sores and every type of wound you could imagine. I've done more surgeries than most, man, than you can imagine. Like, so many, like daily surgeries and daily, like, I'd have to pack his wounds. He'd have big gaping wounds, like, as he'd constantly get hurt, constantly hurt himself. He couldn't feel shit, so he'd just run into shit, and he didn't care. He was crazy as fuck. One time he melted his leg on a fire. But yeah, I just wanted to touch some titties, just wanted some nitties. And he'd sit there and try to pay him to sit on his face and shit like that. Like, he's crazy as fuck. But yeah, so taking care of him though was difficult because he was such a leather neck. Like, he was so crazy. And then, on top of it, my dad, he was a gangster. That motherfucker ran business. Like, he was just doing so much shit, just wheeling and dealing all day, like, constant. He'd have 3 phones. Even growing up, like, when he could drive, he'd have 2 CB radios and 3 cell phones. That was my dad. So, after he got hurt, he couldn't get around like he could before, at least for a while. Once he could get around, he got a vehicle where he could drive with just his hands. And then we got a bus, and I drive him around in a bus, and we drive him around and shit, and we go everywhere. And he'd be on the job sites, and he'd be, we'd be out, at the shooting range and things like that, and doing this and that, and all kinds of shit. But he still wasn't able to move like he could before, right? Obviously. So he got kind of crazier where because he's like in more control of things. He's more of a voice, and had a lot of people working for him and a lot of people doing things for him, and he could basically get anything done at any time. So and and he took care of a lot of people, though. He took care of a lot of people, and I took care of him, and we had a great relationship, father and son wise. I mean, we went through a lot of shit together, don't get me wrong, but me and him had like such a good relationship, like where we took care of each other, we protected each other, did everything for each other. Everything. Like, you wouldn't believe the shit my dad would ask me to do, or not even ask, tell me to do, and the things I've had him do for me. So it was almost like two best friends more than like father and son, but he was still my father, obviously. But yeah, man, it was pretty crazy. And he would do things, though, like I said, that were so off the wall. Like, even the little things, right? The little things, like he'd be in his wheelchair, and his wheelchair weighed like 350 pounds without him in it. With him in it, it was over 500 pounds. So if he rolled over somebody's foot, it was painful, and he would slowly roll over people's feet. Like, he'd get up to you and he wasn't going to move. Like, he didn't care. So if you were standing there and your foot was there, he'd look you in the eyes as he was going over it very slowly. Like, it was pretty sick in the head. And then, like, going through like doorways, like a doorway, his chair was so powerful and strong that the side wheels, or the wheel wells of the chair, would grab the sides of the door and tear the doors right off the hinges. And he wouldn't even flinch, wouldn't even look back. Fucking door frame hanging off of, wherever the hell he just went through. Like, the doors around the property where he lived, all of them had repairs. Every single one of them got repaired dozens of times. But the crazy thing wasn't there. It was when we were out and about places. I told the story about the one time he turned around. We were at a dog track, at a dog, racetrack, and he was going to make a bet or something, spun his chair around and starts flying away, and grabs some little old lady's chair, pulls it right out from underneath her. Here he goes 15 miles an hour across the thing with a chair bouncing behind, bang, 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 bang behind him. And I looked like I caught her, and I was like, I'm just apologizing for him. Like, I'm so sorry. My dad didn't notice. He didn't know. I'm sorry. He didn't mean to. And for all I know, he probably obviously he can hear there's a chair banging behind him. But that was him 24/7 like that. and and yeah, man, he'd get so much shit done, though. Like, and so many people would call him, even myself included, like when I'd get in trouble or things would happen, I could call my dad, man. I could call my dad, and he'd send somebody to come take care of business, or do something, whatever he had to do, pull some strings, make shit happen. And but like I said, he lived 13 years. Then he in the end, his organs were failing and things like that, and so it went down. He wound up dying in his bed. He didn't want to die in the hospital. He wanted to die in bed with all of us there. So that's what he did. So he literally died in my hands. I was literally holding his hand when he died. His last words, everything. I remember everything perfectly. But he was ready, though. That's the thing. It was a sad thing, but not really, because he was so ready to go. And I had asked him dozens and dozens of times, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you're ready? And he's like, let me go. Please just let me die. So it's like, all right, because before that, we brought him to the hospital so many times and had him recover and recover and recover. He was just at the end. He was done. So you got to respect that. And he was a hell of a man, Lacey. Yes, he was. He was one hell of a man. And anybody who knows him, like, the stories, man, like, if you're around my family, like the stories we have over my dad he's one of a kind for sure. My whole family's like that, though. Like, so I wouldn't say one of a kind, because I have a lot of family that are pretty crazy like that, but my dad was unique for sure. And he was full of fire, man, full of fire. And just, man, I think about even the shit like that he used to have me do, like when I was a kid, like kind of preparing me, for adulthood, you could say, because he knew what type of guy I was going to be. My dad knew what was up. He knew that I was going to fall in line and, probably do same shit he was doing and things like that. So it made it where since he's seen that in me, he started preparing me really early, like how to talk to the cops, how to get rid of them, what to say, what not to say. Like I remember one time he grabbed me by the tongue with pliers and told me if I ever snitched on anybody or if I ever talked about anything I heard around him or seen around him, he'd cut my tongue out. and that stuck with me. And I never even thought twice about that because that was just ingrained in me. It was like burned into my brain. Like you don't do that. And he would tell me like that's the lowest kind of human was a rat. The lowest kind of human was somebody that would snitch and rat on their own people and shit like that. So that was huge for me not to do that. And in fact, when I would get in trouble, he would like if he found out that like I was getting in trouble and wasn't snitching, that he would actually praise me for it. He wouldn't even be mad that I got in trouble. He'd just be happy that I wasn't fucking talking. So, but anyways, the old man was a good man, awesome man. And like I said, he died 13 years after he got hit. I think I was 30 when he died, 7 years ago, because I'm 37 now. But yeah, he was very intelligent. Like he did construction his whole life and obviously did other business. So he he knew what was up. He was very, very intelligent, really good at numbers and shit. A gambler, huge gambler. That's for damn sure. But we had to pull the plug on my father after a 9-week battle with AIDS, I'm guessing. 63, miss him like you missed yours. ARDS. What's ARDS? Sorry, guys, I'm sitting here slapping this thing around. This thing is so powerful. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, like I said, he was ready. So it was good to see him out of pain because he was in pain for so long. And he went down obviously a battle with addiction and everything because of his pain and everything. So it was tough, man. It was tough. Like but the one thing I'm grateful for is I spent so many days and hours with him just doing some of the craziest shit. Like all those memories are just burned into my skull, things I can't even talk about. And I'm blessed to have them. So I feel good about the relationship we had for that last 13 years. But anyways, all right, guys. Yeah, I'm an old man. I'm gonna shave this off so I can go back to looking even younger. You guys are thinking I'm old now since I let my gray hair grow out. Might have to shave it. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Don't forget Bang Gang Live tomorrow, 12:15 Central Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 12:15 p.m. Central Time. I'll throw out the notifications about 11:45, so you'll have 30 minutes to show up. If you want me to bring anything, just make sure you leave it in the chat so I can see it, so I can make sure I get it. Oh, acute respiratory. I got you. Okay. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Patreons. I think most of you have entered. If you have not entered in that giveaway, make sure you go enter that giveaway for the Patreons. If you're a Patreon, there are a few people that have not entered yet. Make sure you go enter it because you guys have the chance to win the Microtech MSI. We have 2 other giveaways that I'm going to announce when we pull it. So there's 3 giveaways all together. Guys, thank you guys for all the support. I love you guys. Thank you guys for the donations, all the new members. Shout out to everybody that hung out with me. Peace.